1040 AM, 99.7 FM. Translator W259AB. Powell, Knoxville.
Bring it on, long and strong. Lean and long, bring it on. To the crack of dawn, bring it on, long and strong. Bino, Jeff, Brian, welcome to Fantasy Island, my friends.
Hey, I'm in here right off the top, too, Tony.
Bring it on, long and strong, lean and long, bring it on. Tony Valls, speaking of lean, Tony Valls going to join us, Beanstar, coming up here in a mere matter of minutes. Are you fired up, folks, prepared for him?
I am, Tony. Look forward to talking to Coach.
What are we going to do with him today? Are we going to browbeat him on the season they've had, or are we going to talk about the postseason and keep the focus there? What do you guys want to do? We haven't met and had our pre-production meeting.
I'm not browbeating anybody on here, Tony. That's your role.
How about you, Brian? You want to browbeat this guy, or we want to talk about the postseason with him? Because Orange Throat comes with a message of love, a message of hope, a message of salvation. As he says that, and Will Heflin said it, it's a totally different season now. And you're either going to perform or you're not in this different season. But it's a completely different season. Bri, I forgot, we had the same exact record we had a couple years ago, that team that went at Clemson and won on the Miracle.
Yes. Thanks to not getting swept and thanks to sweeping 2 series, Tennessee does not get swept better than a team in the country. They've proven that they can beat anyone once, and they play in a regional somewhere. There's probably a good chance that they actually beat one of those teams twice.
I'm going to need you to come back in and come back out, Bri. You're flanging on me. So you do that. That's be absolutely next level. Bino, I wonder what it is about postseason baseball. Heflin said it feels totally different. It is totally different. The air is different. The game is different. Will was in here after the game on Saturday, and he said, you know what? He said, I could be being absolutely sheepy here, but I saw enough things that I kind of think this team has a run in them.
Well, you get there, Tony, and there's just a sense of such higher sense of urgency to every game, and some teams react to that well, and some don't. And you have to find out which one you are each year.
No doubt about it. So Tennessee plays baseball on Wednesday. Do I want to go like making a public appearance, Bino, and do the thing publicly, or would that backfire on us if we're on the air while the game's going on? I mean, we're going to be on the air, but do I need to add that with this team? Brian, what do you think? Do we need to add that with this team? Past teams, we would go do it and watch them hammer somebody.
I think I'm going to leave that up to you. I say maybe you do it because you may not get a good chance.
Wow.
I don't think you're going to affect the outcome either way, Tony. So,
well, I mean, you know, I did a number on the Toronto Maple Leafs and Brian Hartman's Boston Celtics over the weekend.
Yeah. Thanks a lot, Tony.
Hey, Brian, over at VIP Play, that's the last time I put the Celtics in my mouth. I'll tell you that right now.
Thank you.
Hey, Bino, I looked up, checked the halftime score in that game. I think Brian's guys had 37 points at halftime. I think they were down like 30 points. What was the halftime score, Brian, Friday night?
I went to sleep. They were down 51-28, the last score I saw.
Hey, Bino.
I said, that's enough.
Hey, Bino, explain baseball to me. So Phillips comes out. The Vols win that start, hit the baseball. You get your ace on the mound the next night. He's giving up home run balls all of a sudden, and we can't execute in the field. And Heflin had another great point. I'm always quoting Heflin on here like he's Confucius or something, but him and Matt were talking the other day. Heflin said it sure would be nice to see one of our pitchers pick up a defender when they make an error. He said every time those guys make errors, those runs score with this team. He's right.
Yeah, Tony, this, for whatever reason, I'm incapable of explaining baseball to anyone. I don't understand it myself. It's just so different from day to day. But this is a really probably Coach Vitello's first fragile baseball team. This is a fragile baseball team. It seems like when something goes wrong, many times this year it's kind of snowballed on them.
That ball call, Bino, Saturday was a disgraceful call on a true freshman. That's like punching down on somebody for that umpire to call that there.
Yeah, I mean, it was total horse bleep. No way in the world you make that call. That's absolutely looking for something to call and calling something that didn't occur.
And Dave Van Horn was a coward afterwards, taking on Berkey. And then he says, well, it looked different. Looked different how? Looked different how?
Looked different because they picked his runner off by 2 body lengths.
I mean, how did that look different?
But
how'd that look
again,
different?
Yeah, I didn't see anything that looked different on it. He just pivoted in the hole and threw over there. There was nothing. There was nothing to indicate any start toward the plate. It was a perfect pickoff.
In a weird way with this Tennessee baseball team, because now it's going to get real. I think these guys ought to feel good about themselves. They haven't won a series in like 6 weeks. They're totally due. They are playing better. My boy who we had on last week, and he's my boy now, Levi Clark, looks like, you know what he is? He's what a college baseball hitter should be, Bino. The really good college baseball hitters, when they get in that batter's box, you have to watch them because they're capable of smashing a ball at somebody at any point. And when that kid's in the batter's box right now, he looks like he has bad intentions, Bino.
Yeah, he does, Tony. I think he's going to be a really solid hitter. I'll be surprised if he's not.
Yeah.
I don't know what position he plays.
Yep.
At other levels, but he's going to be a really solid hitter. And to Orange Stroke's point, you know, the hope here is that history's repeated in that this program under both Rod Delmonico and Tony Vitello, much more often than not, flourishes rather than wilts in the postseason. That's what we've seen here.
So let's go. Let's go. Tony Vols on the other side after this. Let's get the party started. The postseason. I'm not saying a word about that regular season to Tony Vols. Not a word. So we continue with more after this.
It's the hottest postgame show on the planet. Garza Law. Fifth quarter fan reaction. Fan reaction. As soon as the final gun sounds, we're live.
Tony Basilio, and we've got Chad Stockton with FC Alliance. Chad?
Well, I'm up in Johnson City, Tennessee with our FC Alliance North location that we started this past fall. We are doing well. We kickstarted the spring season with games this past weekend, and we've got more games coming up the next few weeks. So we're excited about what the springtime holds for us. Our girls' ECNL is also into the middle of their spring season. They hosted a huge weekend this weekend coming from Pittsburgh and New York. The teams they hosted, good results, hard teams they played all weekend long. We've got such a focus on skill development and focusing on what's the right way to play for our kids as we continue to grow. We're expecting our programs to continue to grow like they have been the past few years. Our tryouts are coming up in late May. For the U12 and under, it's the middle of May, and then for the older kids, it'll be late May. But we're expecting to grow not only in Knoxville, but also in Johnson City.
And if you want more information, you can see what Chad's talking about and hear those kids and get involved. It's FCAllianceKnox.org. Again, FCAllianceKnox.org. Hey, Chad, thanks, man. Many happy returns, my brother.
Thank you, Tony.
Listen up, baseball fans. It's time to step up to the plate and get some new Tennessee gear from Alumni Hall. Don't you dare swing and miss by shopping elsewhere. Alumni Hall has the best selection, top brands for you to choose from. Shop in store, 3 Knoxville locations, or Bristol or Murfreesboro. Anytime, online, anywhere in the world at alumnihall.com. Come grab your Tennessee baseball jerseys. Incredible Oh, Coach Vitello jersey, hats, decals, t-shirts, and so much more. Earn $10 in rewards for every $150 spent. Shop Alumni Hall, your ultimate Tennessee shopping destination. Go Vols from Alumni Hall. Tony Basilio along with the great Mark Griffin. And we're here to talk about our friends at Performance Medicine. And Griff, their slogan, stay educated, stay healthy. That's you.
Wow. I really like to think that, Tony, and I'd like to give Dr. Rogers a lot of credit because I definitely want to stay educated and healthy, and knowing that he's putting the time and effort in to make sure of my care, I want to encourage your listeners to put the time to learn and become educated and get to know Dr. Rogers and see if it can help with your health as well.
And there's a really, really easy way to do that. In fact, they've got their own YouTube channel. You can see Dr. Rogers for himself with his staff. It's called The Performance Medicine Show over at the Performance Medicine channel over on YouTube. Also, more information at performancemedicine.net. To our friends in North Knoxville, a brand new location over in Fountain City, now accepting patients. So many ways to reach Dr. Rogers. And like they say, stay educated, stay healthy. Performance Medicine, online, performancemedicine.net. TB here for Cedar Bluff Plumbing, a live and local company that's been serving our area for over 32 years and counting, because every customer counts, and I mean, no job is too small. Cedar Bluff Plumbing just voted #1 by City View magazine because multiple plumbing experts are on call to serve all your plumbing needs. Chances are there'll be a plumber in your area when you call, and they won't send some salesman to your house. You're going to get a high character, trustworthy, highly trained plumber who will serve you. Not like some of these guys that look like they came off the set of America's Most Wanted. Cedar Bluff Plumbing is Basilio tested and approved and will go the extra mile for you because Chucky Mack is a servant of the people and my consigliere to the throne, celebrating over 32 years of serving living volunteers. Cedar Bluff Plumbing. Call 588-4448. That's 588-4448. Cedar Bluff Plumbing.
Attention Vol fans, are you tired of complicated, clunky fleet technology that makes your job harder? Say goodbye to frustration and hello to Connexial, your hometown partner in logistics. It's time to rev up your operations with next level fleet management from Connexial. Connexial is here to keep your business on track with technology that works as hard as you do. Our game changers and real-time asset tracking. You'll have eyes on the road, cargo, and your fleet from anywhere, anytime. And the best part, our friendly, U.S.-based customer support team is just one phone call away. No more long wait times or frustrating tech talk. Just real people with real solutions. With Connexial, you get a professional team you can trust and easy-to-use products that keep you on the road. What do you say, Tony?
I'm ready. Make the smart move and call Connexial today.
865-888-6920. Learn more at Connexial.com. That's Konexial.com. Drive life with Connexial and go Vols.
Yeehaw! Some people say betting online is still the wild, wild west. But with the VIP Play app, you're riding with the best. VIP Play app is hotter than a $2 pistol packed with flair. Live hosts and features finer than a frog hair. Send your old betting problems out of town with a slap. You'll be betting sharp as a tack on the VIP Play app.
Don't be a better, be a better with VIP Play today.
Download VIP Play today or head to VIPPlayApp.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-88-99789. Must be 21 plus and located in Tennessee to bet.
Jeff Hall here. I'm a partner at Rather & Kittrell Capital Management. Life is full of transitions. Planning for retirement, managing investments, or navigating major life changes. Here at Rather & Kittrell, we're here to guide you through every step. Visit rkcapital.com or call 865-218-8400 to start your journey toward financial clarity today. Rather & Kittrell is a registered investment advisor.
It's always magnificent. Mondays on the Basilio Show, presented by our friends at Fleet Tire. I-275 exit 1B at East Woodland Avenue in Knoxville. Fleet Tire, I-275 exit 1B at East Woodland Avenue in Knoxville. And now, back to boo. So the season started with a guy walking up to me where I was playing music and saying, I saw your son on television today, and I thought, well, that's fun. And I didn't know what he was talking about. It took me 5 6 or 7 minutes to realize it. Hey, Brian, what do I do when my son's late calling my radio show? Do I talk to him later on over spaghetti and meatballs? Do I mention it in the moment and embarrass my son? What are we doing here, Brian?
You ground him for a week.
Ground him for a week so he can't coach?
Suspend him for 2 games.
Whoa, Tony Vols. Whoa, Tony. If only Tony knew. He's getting ready to get the most softball interviews from me. Because at the end of the day, and Chris Burke don't want you to know this, but their sport is so random, Bill, and it's really about what's about to happen. You know, I had forgotten, Bino, a couple years ago that team had scuffled to the point where they had the exact same record this team had. Of course, 2 years ago, that team took off at the end of the year. That was the difference. This team's descended at the end of the year, so it feels different. But the point remains the same, Bino. What you do in the postseason, it washes away a lot of sins, doesn't it?
Yeah, it absolutely does, Tony. We talked before the break about this program's history of flourishing in the postseason, and this team has some vulnerability to it. If they go in the postseason and light it up like some of our past teams, then, just get there should be this program's motto.
And Throaty says, this team's underachieved. I don't know about that. I think this team's done what this team's done. I don't know if they've underachieved.
Yeah, I think it's just hard to tell exactly who you are, Tony, when you win 9 of your first 10 conference games and then lose 13 of your last 20.
Yep.
Who are you?
To tell the truth.
We're in between those two things.
Yep, to tell the truth, postseason style. Laura's out there getting wordy with Tony Vitello, whose time is tight. She's out there, I don't know, chatting him up. Tony, what's that all about? Anything I need to know about as I welcome you in on the TLD Logistics Hotlines today?
No, we just set up shop early in Hoover. It's always a vibe here. We got a lot going on this morning. We're trying to get acclimated to what will be an early morning game time Wednesday, so knocking out a bunch of stuff here with the boys.
Sean Barrows told me we don't have much time, so Tony, don't be too wordy, okay? I'm just warning you. I gotta
not be wordy, and you don't be shy either. Why don't you go ahead and ask me what you want to ask?
Well, I tell you what I want to ask you. I don't even want to talk about the regular season because truly, this is what you guys build toward, and this is the spot. And you sit there all season and kind of tinker with the cake and try to come up with the best ingredients you can. And Will Heflin was in here after the game the other day, and he said, I hate to sound like a sheep. He said, but I've seen so many good things in the past couple of weekends that lead me to believe that this team has a run in them. And I'd like to pause there with you. And he said postseason baseball, unless you've lived it and breathed it and walked out there in the postseason in that sport, is a completely different animal. How much are you hanging your hat on that, Tony, that it's a new season?
Oh, well, it's factual. So I think, however, we got a black hat, a gray one, and an orange one, hanging all of them on it because your record is 0-0 for this week. This is a tournament we've always invested in. I know there's different approaches different programs take, but we want to win. And there's been a couple early exits, and there's been a couple good runs and a couple in-betweeners. But you can't just pull confidence out of thin air, and you got to have some ability to do it. So Will's right, but we don't have to talk about the regular season, but it does impact the postseason to an extent. The league prepares you, the bottom line. We went to the 3 most difficult places to play in the entire country, arguably. And then if you swap out, just the bottom line is we did not finish off series at home other than the one against Florida. But otherwise, we had the best non-conference record we've ever had in program history. We had a winning record on the road in the SEC. And the one thing that I didn't want any part of was a downslide, which is a interesting word to use, slide. But I didn't want a downslide after winning a national championship, because if you look at the last 3 or 4, Vanderbilt won in 19. Of course, there was no season in 20, but the champions prior to that didn't do so hot. There looked to be a hangover, and I don't think we had a hangover at all. We got beat. We got outplayed, in particular at home, on a couple of occasions.
Twilight Zone at home, man. I mean, some real Twilight Zone stuff that maybe one day we can laugh about. But, I mean, just bizarre stuff. T, set this up for me now. Who are you pitching on Wednesday? Have you decided? And if you've said it, I'm sorry that I haven't seen it. But who's going Wednesday?
No, I mean, we wanted to look after Liam's finger, his future, and then also our future, because we obviously need him to throw 100 pitches each time he's out there at a minimum. And he had done a lot for us the prior weeks. But we also wanted to look out for the tournament here. So Marcus is a guy who can bounce back and be available. A.J. Russell, Nate Snead, and Tanner Franklin did not throw on Sunday. Dylan Loy and Brandon Arvidsson are two guys that lead the team in appearances and can be available on the left-handed side of the mound. And then Braden Krenzel, we pulled him out of that game on Saturday, game 3. He's throwing the ball pretty well for us. He kind of looks like he's got his stride back after being sick for a while, and his stuff was down for a couple moments there, but we'll throw all those guys at him. They'll all be down in the bullpen, all available at any minute. I don't know which one will start. Probably today's practice, how some guys feel, and some conversations will dictate that a little bit. I don't know too much that we'll wait to see who we play out of the two teams, that'll dictate it. But right now there's no, with the way that there's no bullpen to throw, so there's no pressing need to say you're the guy, but we're going to use all those guys.
So you're going to go opener approach and like midweek approach almost.
Yeah, I don't know that that'll be the case, but I don't think we're going to look for anybody to necessarily give us 5.
That's fair.
But yeah,
you got bigger fish to fry. But moving along, so this had to be an experience for you, and then we'll get Bino in here. But down the stretch of the season, and I'm not going to talk about. I'm really not going to talk about the season with you, other than to say Levi Clark was on with us last Wednesday. By the way, these kids we've had on Wednesday that Evan Russell's furnished us with through what he's doing it's just been phenomenal. So kudos to you, all your kids. I've texted you on some of them. Phenomenal. Levi Clark last week, who looks like he knows he belongs right now. You can just see in his body language, that kid looks like he's getting ready to hammer the baseball when he gets in the box. I mean, he's seeing it really well. I said, so how's Tony been during this slide? He said, you couldn't tell whether we were 20-0 or 0-20 by Tony's approach. And I would like your comment on Levi Clark saying that to me.
Well, the kid's incredibly mature, and he seems like a boy. He's not built like it, but he seems like a Boy Scout when you're, off the field. But when he's on the field, he's a killer. And he's also a great teammate. So in moments where maybe we tried some different things and also coming out of the gate with the SEC, the numbers were nowhere near what they were in non-conference for him. He just kind of held true and kept working and even made some adjustments, and he's been an incredible player for us and has a bright future.
But he said for you, he said you don't change. He said you didn't answer my question. He said you didn't change, Tony. He said you didn't yell and scream. You didn't go behind scenes. You didn't point the finger. He said you would never have known.
Well, there's nothing going on other than we've gotten beat. So you and your buddy keep using this word slide. I think you guys need to do a little history lesson and take a look at some numbers because it's the wrong word to use. And what's going on is, I'm sure there's other narratives out there, but we're around these kids and this team as much as anybody every day. There's no one thing to freak out about.
I love you, Tony.
When you got guys like Dolander and Burns, you choose stuff over those guys have stuff over worrying about base runners. So Marcus is a young kid. He's gotten better in every area since he's been in our program, and obviously he's gotten better at that deal. But defensively, we're not the best team in the country. Offensively, we got firepower, but we're not the best team in the country. Starting pitching, we don't really have 3 SEC starters like the best programs in our conference do. Our bullpen, we lost over 400 innings from last year's team, so our bullpen has done okay, but it's not the best bullpen in the country. If they play together as a team, and play with confidence, which is affected by what we say as coaches, what they say in the locker room, what our fans say, what social media says, what other perceptions are out there. All those things rolled in a blanket. They have the potential to be the best team in the country in a given game or a given weekend. But in each of those occasions where our guys have competed, if they didn't, we would have got swept. There's only 4 teams in the conference this year that did not get swept.
Wow.
So anyhow, if there was lack of competition or something crazy going on, or one of those areas was the absolute cancer, then we could rant, rave, scream, or change. But the bottom line is we have not been good enough as a collective group, including coaches, and when I say that, mainly me, we haven't been good enough on those days where we have gotten beat. So the only thing to do is to make adjustments, get to work, stay positive, keep going down the train that we want to go down, and end the season as best as we could. And we ended the season with a winning record in the best league in the country that will prepare you for the postseason as well as anything. That doesn't guarantee you success in the postseason, but it does prepare you.
Well, you know who you are. I mean, after going through that gauntlet. Hey, Bino, jump in here with the great Tony Vitello, whose time is tight today. And so far, Tony, you're doing a nice job. Go ahead, Bino.
Coach, I got 2 quick ones for you here. This is a team that didn't have as much field time together as most of your previous rosters. Do you feel the staff and the roster are all gaining clarity and confidence and comfort in what their exact roles are headed into postseason?
I think so. I mean, I made a comment at one point. We tried to dig our heels in at one time and say, this is our lineup, and this is what we're going to do, and we're going to make this guy the closer. And there was a couple things that threw that off, long story short. But because what you want is some clarity when you come to the ballpark. So I made a statement to the team, hey, we just don't have that type of team this year. It's not going to be like that. Well, since then, it kind of has become that. And I think we know exactly what we want to do from this point forward. And it will be a little bit different, cutthroat style with playoff baseball where you're not so worried about this or that. So long story short, I think we know our team as well as we can at this point, and we're going to go forward with that group and those roles that we see fit. And it's going to be a matter of whether or not we're good enough in those spots.
You touched on this just a little bit, Coach, but you feel like the new SEC tournament format is more or less conducive to preparing your lineup and aligning your rotation for the regionals?
I don't know, because it's, opinions are great to have, so I could throw one out, but there's nothing, again, I like facts more, and there's nothing to really base it off of because it's new. I kind of liked it. When we were all voting in there, I think the guys whose votes should carry the most weight, I'll just say it like that, like a Coach Van Horn, it's like they like the old format. And there were some other unique ideas thrown around too. I thought a good blend would be, hey, it's the inaugural year of 16 teams. Invite everybody so everybody gets to come, but then let's go back to what we had. So I don't know how this deal is going to go. It's going to be interesting for media, scouts. I don't know if the fan bases are going to travel more or less because your team might be out in one game.
It's dumb. That makes no sense, Tony. That makes no sense when you say that out loud.
But it might affect the postseason more. It might get more teams in. I don't know. I like competition, so you might get punched in the mouth, but and you might not make it. You might be a really good team and not make the top 12. But anyhow, nothing to base it off of. So it's going to be their unanswered questions. It's going to be interesting.
Hey, T, on the way out, I got 2 things for you. One silly, one serious. Which one you want first?
Let's go silly.
All right. So Heflin's listening to us. And by the way, the guy is an excellent broadcaster. He's going to be unbelievable. You told me when we were starting with him that this guy's got onions. This guy's got some serious mental firepower. I don't know what you did to him. You rubbed off on him, Tony. You took him from a boy to a man. At any rate,
I appreciate that. He's got natural savvy to him, though.
Yeah, he really does. He says, ask if you guys are going to go over the slide rule at second base before you play Wednesday, a la Max Ferguson. What's that about?
Well, what it's about is we played Alabama, and we had a feisty group and a really strong group, and we're winning that game. And then they tie it up. And then in the ninth, we got bases loaded, and we hit a ground ball. Jake Rucker hits a ground ball, which isn't ideal because they can potentially turn a double play, but they really had no chance to turn it. But Max plays hard, slid hard into second, and they called him for interference. And instead of it being a walk-off, they take our team off the field. We continue extra innings. We end up losing that game. Now, we did come back and make it to the final that year, but it was very similar to a recent balk call.
That was embarrassing. Embarrassing, Tony. That was embarrassing.
It was
embarrassing.
It was horse, whatever would come out of for some reason, my Instagram.
Why would you call that in college baseball on a freshman? Why are you punching down on a freshman there? What is that?
I don't know, because I've coached first base, I've coached third base, and then recently become a head coach. And all three of those spots, which spans almost 15 years, I've been complaining about that call, and I've been complaining that call to people that are authorities too. And the bottom line is it's no longer a call. So Chris Burke always talks about guys don't steal as many bases as when he played. Well, starting with Gene Stevenson's Wichita State team, and also Mike Bianco, Mississippi's kind of the grandfather of this, and kudos to him. Everybody learns how to balk legally, and so they get away with it. So if you see our scouting reports, almost every other guy, the scouting reports reads front knee balk move, which means you're kind of buckling that front knee, but everybody gets away with it. And in that case, I haven't watched the video because I don't want to kill anybody.
Embarrassing. It's embarrassing.
Probably see that guy, but yeah, ESPN, I love those guys, but the first thing they say to me is how bad of a call it is. It's not a good way for me to start an in-game interview because it just gets my adrenaline heart rate up.
Well, Berkey called it out on the air, and Van Horn says, well, he's a Tennessee guy. Come on, man. That guy knows. He goes, well, it looked different. Looked different than what? He goes, it looked different. Different than what? Different than what would be my question for him. Different than, hey, T, on the way out, you guys have to win how many here to host? What's the mentality? Or do you even think about that?
I don't, and I don't look. And I think what we got is the boys are just about to start stretching with Coach Q. We need to make sure Levi's staying consistent with his answers and they're truthful, that there's a good vibe here at practice. There's also some good information shared. There's a plan. We're organized. I know at times you look out on the field or when the game speeds up, you got to make last-minute decisions, and things may not look ideal, but we got to maintain what's been a strength for ours, and it's been preparation. I feel like we put as much time in as anybody. So this needs to be a good workout here, and then the next day needs to be a good workout. And then Hunter Ensley was surprised. I put on the itinerary, we're going to bring the team over to Hoover because we got enough new guys that have never seen it over there. We don't get to practice at Hoover. They need to kind of see the ballpark and what the environment's like and how it's going to play. So we need to have a good 2 days of preparation. And then it's 9:30 a.m. A lot of times the team that plays the day before has a little bit of an advantage because they're back in a rhythm of playing games. So I'm not making excuses, but it presses the need even more to be prepared and make sure our guys are ready out of the chute. And if you look at our box scores, a lot of times our team is not guilty of not being ready. Pre-game's been good. The first 2 innings we're either winning or it's a tie game. And then when we get punched in the gut, it's very important this emotional team maintains, their composure for really what is the most key word, kind of like we had on that Arkansas win, is keep your composure and finish the job. And if finishing the job doesn't get you a win, okay. But there's been some times where we haven't finished the job.
A lot of bright spots, though, down the stretch, man, the last couple of weeks. Those who are discerning and know the sport, sometimes it's about compiling wins, and that's all great. Sometimes it's about growing your baseball team. I think you guys are in a good spot here, Tony. And I'll tell you one thing. If Bino or Heflin or any of these clowns use the slide word around me, I'm going to slap the fire out of them.
Feel free, because it's a BS term if you look at where we're at and what we're trying to do. And I guess if you don't think it's a BS word, then that's fine. Get on the other side, and if you're on our side, jump on board and see what these kids can do on Wednesday. And then, fortunately, there's days after that too, regardless of what happens.
Tone, I love you. You got fire. Have a Dwight Gooden. Good talking to you.
You too, brother. Y'all take care.
Good luck on Wednesday. Bino, is he pissed at me on the TLD Logistics Hotline where Tony just appeared? Do you think he was ready for me and heard whispers of us saying that their team was sliding? Do you think he enjoyed sneaking that in there and ripped me over my Marcus Phillips take? Did you like that, Bino?
Tony, I don't know if our squad's ready to go, but Tony needs no prompting. Today, he is ready. He is ready.
I wasn't even talking about the season, and he jumped my ass, Bino. What did I do? I said we're not even going to talk about the season, and he was the one referring back to it. Come on, Tony Vols. Bino, let's talk about that ball call. So, Tony, that's totally embarrassing that you'd call that in a college baseball game, Bino. Totally embarrassing. Yes or no?
Absolutely, Tony. I told you it was a horse bleep call, and that's exactly what Tony referred to it as.
Yeah. I do remember, speaking of what Heflin texted me, who's out there in radio land listening to us, that Ferguson play, I do remember that because that was like an afternoon game. And that was a totally made-up call. That was a complete – I'll tell you the thing about college baseball. I was telling Berkey this the other day off the air. You really learn the rule book when you watch these college baseball games because you see things you never, ever, ever see in any walk of life. And it really tests your knowledge of a rule book.
Hey, listen, with what left-handers have gotten away with through the history of this game, they should never call a balk on a right-handed pitcher.
Brian Hartman, that's exactly right. Brian Hartman, did you what did you think of when Vitello snapped and clapped at me and we held him to 30 minutes there, Bri? What was our time limit, Bri?
Well, he had 10 minutes allegedly, but he actually took up like 18 or 20 of it.
Well, he had to come after me. Tony Basilio. So I'm the problem. You're on my team. Were you on our team? Come on, Tony Vols. I'll tell you one thing.
I remember that they run-rolled that Alabama team 2 days later on a Friday afternoon. They just absolutely took it all out on him.
Heflin said he's got to jump in meetings, but when Berkey jumps on to tell him to quit being a homer. Hey, Bino, the Woolies on Twitter, the Twidiots, they really love to go after Berkey. He sounded too excited after Arkansas's grand slam. He's calling a baseball game. I don't know. I mean, what are you supposed to do? Calling the game? Hang your head? Sackcloth and ashes?
If anybody questions Burke's loyalty to this program and this sports program, they haven't listened to him anywhere but on a broadcast he's doing.
There are some real and really when Burke's in a spot where he's doing a Tennessee game, he can't win or lose because if there's a flashpoint, we'll talk to him about that momentarily. But if there's a flash,
you don't want to let facts get in the way.
Well, of course,
of tweeting.
Of course, yeah, of tweeting. I mean, you're angry. You gotta send your tweets out. The number is 865-200-5402
Yes.
if you choose to get in with us in the hunt and in the mix and in the mix and in the hunt. Well, let's go to the phones then. Berkey going to join us here at some point. Hi, welcome in. You're on the air.
How are my friends and compatriots doing today?
Hey, W. Lynn, welcome in.
After that interview, I'm fired up, focused, and ready to dive in home plate, head first, coonskin hat, state flag, and break about 6 bones.
There you go, brother. And that's probably what would happen. They'd be sweeping you up with a dustpan.
That's exactly what would happen if I tried that. I damn sure couldn't get up. But,
no.
Oh man, that really has me excited because
Tony's got some Tony's got some vinegar in him, doesn't he?
Yeah, I'm not going to use that word sliding comment ever again, but he gave us a little history lesson and all this stuff. I loved it. But, when I saw that start time at 10:30, I'm in Bible study at that time, I thought, if I'm in Bible study for our first game, I guess we're not one of the top 4 teams. But I'm excited about. I want to win that game so bad, just so we can play Texas. I have wanted to play Texas in baseball for eons, and I'm fired up for the tournament now. He didn't give any numbers we needed to do. He said we're playing one game at a time. I personally think we should probably use a midweek concept on the first game. Then Thursday through Saturday, if we make it, use kind of like our starters. Don't burn anybody out. And if we make it to Sunday, we're pulling Kirby Cannell and Evan Russell out. They still have eligibility.
Well, you fired me up today, W. Lynn. Do you think this team has a run in them, yes or no? Because if I had pantyhose, I'd have a run in them after watching this season.
I do think they can put it together and get a run, because he's right. We didn't get swept by anybody. So when he listed about 4 things that we're not great at, but if we put it all together, and I was so glad he said even the coaching staff and myself, if we put it all together, I think we can beat anybody. I really think we can beat anybody in the country if we put it all together.
Well, I know one thing. If this team goes to an ACC team, that'll feel like coming up for air to them, because we have a stat in the blog today. The ACC and the SEC, and W. Lynn, thank you. I got to get Berkey in here, but that's like they play 2 different games. You're talking about a power game and a finesse game, and our guys need to play the power game. They need somebody that plays the finesse game, and unless you're going to put the ball in play a lot, well, I don't know. I don't even know what I'm saying. I'm rethinking myself here, because after what Kentucky did to us, death by 1,000 paper cuts. Let's bring Chris Burke in here. Berkey, so Tony Vols is a rather spirited, full of vim and vinegar, and ready to fight on a Monday here.
Love it. I didn't get to catch but the last couple minutes of it because I was doing something else.
He gave me some really odd comment about how tell your guy, this is what he said. Bino, I don't want to put words in his mouth. He said, but the term slide was used. Tell your guy I don't like the term slide. Or you guys like to use the term slide. I don't even know what he's talking about, to me. Because the question I asked him was, Levi Clark was kind of complimenting you that even in the midst of what's happened here, you have been the same every day, whether you guys were 20-0 or 0-20. I said, that's the way I phrased the question, and he comes back with some answer about Levi Clark, and I'm like, no, that's not what I asked you. I'm glad that he's playing well, but I'm asking you about you and your approach to this thing. And then he comes back at me with, well, don't use a word slide. And I'm like, huh? He was ready to fight today, Burke, and I was not.
Well, I love it. Tony Balls is always down for it. It's probably my fault. I think I messed up and used that word on the broadcast when I was trying to...
Now we know.
The culprit, Beanstar. You triggered him, Berkey.
I'll take the heat. I'll take the heat, Coach. That's my bad. I'll wear that one. Forgive me. I get paid to talk for a living, and sometimes I use words that people don't like. So I apologize.
Berkey, what's different in a few words about this postseason baseball and this regular season baseball, and why, no matter the season, has Tennessee been so good at it down through the years when they get in the tournament? Why is that?
I think probably because that edge that you heard him talk with. I mean, I think, I think about, I was thinking about Florida flying home yesterday, and I was thinking, Florida's been playing playoff baseball since like the third week of March. That's a long time to keep an emotional edge, feeling like you're up against elimination. And I think when you're a team like Tennessee, where early on it looked like you were going to get, everything that you want in a season from a regular season goal standpoint, maybe an SEC championship, but certainly a top 8 seed and all that kind of stuff. And then maybe, and not maybe, and then you don't. I think it gives you an edge that is actually an advantage. Now, you still have to play the game, right? You still have to overcome some of the things that have prevented you from, having the regular season that you wanted. But I do think there's an emotional edge that can come with that that's helpful. And in a weird way, I think, look what Scotty Scheffler did yesterday. Right? What did he do? And how many people that have played the game of golf can experience the same thing? Why do you have to get to the 10th tee to fix it? I don't know. But it was clear Scotty Scheffler stood on the 10th tee and absolutely piped really his first drive of the day. And it, from that moment, you're like, oh, this dude's about to run away with this thing. You know what I mean? And so in a lot of ways, this postseason is, metaphorically kind of that same deal for a baseball team where it's like, all right, it's a fresh start. It's a new line.
Yep.
Let's flip the script and put our best foot forward.
Does this team have a chance, Berkey? Because they've got so much talent, right? But they do so many things that just kind of make you scratch your head and go, what was that? But like Bino said, they're either going to be the 20-0 team or the team we've seen down the stretch, but really all they need to be is something in the middle to get out of this first round, right? No matter where they are, just something in the middle of that.
I mean, do they have a chance? I still would call them a favorite.
A favorite for what? A favorite for what?
I mean, Vegas still has them as a favorite to get to Omaha. Because Vegas knows what we all know, which is it's an insanely talented team that was plays away from beating both LSU and Arkansas on the road. And when you look at it piece for piece, they have players that stand up with anybody in the country. So I think they have a chance. I would still call them a favorite.
Another thing Tony Vols told us is they're going to do a by committee thing in that first game. Who's your starter, Tony? I don't know. He said, but who were some of the names, Bino, he used? Phillips was one of them. Our two left-handers were on board. Arvidsson's another one. Yeah, he went down.
What about Russell? Did he say Russell?
He did not.
I don't believe he included AJ in that.
No, he didn't. I tried to pull it out of him. What do you think they do in that first game, Burke?
I don't know. Personally, I would kind of expect to see Russell just because, the SEC tournament is one of the bigger showcases in all of baseball.
Yeah, he said that. He said a bunch of scouts were there. Yep.
Oh, gosh. It changed where I got drafted.
Isn't that amazing?
I went 5 for 6 there with I think I went 5 for 6 with 5 doubles or something in 2 games. And we lost both games. But I played great, and next thing you know, I think I went from the middle or back into the first round to the 10th pick, and I know for a fact it changed my draft status. So we see it all the time. It changes the way people view prospects all the time. And so I don't know, I just kind of assumed that with, kind of the way AJ's season has unfolded, it would make sense to see AJ, and he threw game 1, right? Or he threw game 2? He threw game
2. Yeah, game 2.
Yeah, so that was Friday. So they'll play Wednesday. So that's Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. That's 4 days rest. Maybe that's not enough rest. I don't know. But I know that I'm certain they want to prioritize getting him out there if they stay around. I mean, that's the difference with this year, right? Is you're not guaranteed day 2.
The crazy thing about the Arkansas series, and I'll jump Bino in here, is that, man, this team, I hate to use this term, but if the Vols on video available at JCPenney was still a thing from the Vol network, I still remember those commercials back in the day, but the team video this year be called If, because they're so close to winning all these series. And why are they better on the road than at home? And then I'll jump Bino in here, but explain that to me, because they play more focused baseball on the road, even though they made the mistakes still and some of the goofy fielding stuff. But their at-bats are better. Their focus is better on the road. Why?
Well, I mean, we talked about it a little bit last week. You could chalk it up maybe to the whole try-hard thing. I think that's a legitimate excuse, is maybe there's just a little too much try-hard at home. That could be part of it. Part of it might just be, a little bit of small sample size, even though it feels like a bigger sample size. I mean, some of it's like, well, maybe if they played another month's worth of games, it wouldn't feel like that. I don't know. But I think you're right. I think the quality, especially I think offensively, they've played better on the road. It feels that way. Again, I don't have the stats to back that up. Of course, you'd have to look at the You'd have to look at the conference stats. You couldn't just look at the overall stats, because all their road games are conference games.
Well, that's one thing I wish you TV guys would do. Yeah. If I had a bone to pick with y'all, we need to put conference numbers up there. I love these Tuesday night games, but really in this league, when you're watching this league, what you do in the conference is sort of what we're talking about. And that
well, I agree completely. It
drives me nuts.
And Tom and I are boys, so I can say this. Tom likes the cumulative stats.
Oh, good, Tom.
So
that's great. Tom went to Missouri. He would like them. They need the cumulative stats.
I agree. I think the problem is, there's these national rankings. But what I like about the conference stats, similar to Major League Baseball, it's really the only. It's the closest thing you get to apples.
That's right. That's right.
So because everybody's non-conference schedule is just so different.
You told me one time, you said, Tony, there's a bunch of guys in Major League Baseball that are great hitters in the regular season, but when you get to the postseason, it's really, really hard, because then you're going to face the best arms in the best times. You don't get to feast on the fifth starter and the third, fourth starter, and this guy over here's pitching on 2 days rest and out here legging out an injury. Hey, Bino, jump in here with the great Chris Burke, who's kind enough to give us some time after doing a great job, man. And I mean a great job. I shouted y'all out in the blog today. An awesome job. And you guys both sat there apoplectic when you saw that balk, and Tony Vols was urinated off about that balk. He tried not to talk about it. And I didn't want him to talk about it, but he was all stirred up today. Go ahead, Bino. Jump in here.
Chris, I've got 2 who am I questions for you. The first one is we win 9 of our first 10 SEC games. We lose 13 of our last 20. Who are we?
Well, you're in Tennessee.
Who am I really?
You know this game. You love this game. The answer is always in the middle.
Yeah.
There's an old wise saying in baseball: you're never as good as you think you are. You're never as bad as you think you are. I think we saw a little bit of that this weekend. I'm a big law of averages guy. Like, eventually somebody's going to come around. That there's a piece of that. I think, Tony, you said maybe last week on your show that somebody said to you, how come when somebody's hot, we expect them to stay hot, but when they're cold, we always think it's going to end? And the truth is, you can't stay red hot forever. That's why it's a little bit scary how hot Fisher was last weekend, because you can't expect a guy to duplicate the weekend he had last weekend in Fayetteville. That was insane. By the same token, Hunter Inslee's going to play better. Hunter Inslee's going to play better, right? So it kind of goes both ways. somebody asked me recently, what part of Tennessee's game do I think will improve the most down the stretch? And I thought it would be the defense and the timely hitting. And the timely hitting was better this past weekend. It was. There was some really, some really nice at-bats by guys with 2 outs. The defense, not as much. But I will say, I didn't see it coming, but I thought the run game prevention, again, against the team who doesn't necessarily really want to do it, but Tennessee, I thought, showed the best consistent approach to trying to really pay attention to base runners that I have seen from them this year.
Yep.
So I thought that was a positive, To answer your question, Bino, I think Tennessee is a tremendously talented team, certainly capable of making it to the College World Series. And over the course of the next 3 weekends, because I do think they're going to play it all 3 weekends, I think you'll probably see a mixed bag of all of that. The question is, if you get a day where it goes sideways, is the opponent you're playing, because you're not going to be playing, certainly in a regional, you're not going to be playing an SEC team. So when it goes sideways, is the team you're playing, are they going to be good enough to make you pay for it the way we've seen these SEC teams make Tennessee pay for it?
Berkey, I love you. You're my guy. It's pretty incredible.
I got one more. Who am I really? If he can stay for a second.
Okay.
It's one of my favorite broadcasters that Arkansas's head coach says it's a homer, and Twitter says is Nico. Who am I really?
Wait. Twitter says it's Nico. Wait. You lost me with that question.
You got ripped on Twitter over the weekend like Big Nick and Nico, big boy. They were ripping you. You got too excited for the Grand Slam. He's really not one of us. Blah, 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 blah. The Twitteriots.
That's right. Okay, yeah. So who am I? I'm somebody that loves college baseball, and somebody that, if I'm being honest, somebody I think called me out for being too negative about Tennessee. Well, I've said this before, like the things and the people that I love the most, I can sometimes be overly critical towards.
Boy, ain't that the truth. He's a T-Club member, and he rips the hell out of me in private text.
Just come watch me coach one of my son's games. So I sometimes that's true. But at the end of the day, I will never not be excited for great baseball when I'm on the air calling a game. So forgive me if that hurts some of our Tennessee fan base's feelings, but I'll be calling Tennessee's first game in Hoover, and if they're playing Alabama and Alabama hits a 3-run home run in the ninth, I'm going to lose my stuff just the way I would if Tennessee hit it. So I'm sorry. That's just the reality of how I call games.
Berkey,
Berkey.
But Bino, that was not a balk. In no world was that a balk.
No, absolutely not. Not close.
Not a balk. So.
Van Horn said you're a Tennessee fan, so you got to consider this.
Right. That's right. And I sent him a text about it, too. And I said, hey, bro, is this how it is? This is how it's going to be? He's like, I knew you'd hear that. I thought you'd like that.
Yeah, he was kind of like laughing when he said a little bit of wrestling there from him.
He was.
He was having a good time with it. And to pull the curtain back, people think he and Tony are like mortal enemies. They're actually not. Tony greatly appreciates him.
There.
Yeah. And they had that real, they fight over players, and they fight over this guy that's about to get into the portal. We were speculating on the blog today. There's a kid out there that's getting ready. These guys fight like crazy over players, but at the end of the day, they both love their sport and respect their sport and are trying to do right by it. But, Berkey, I love you. Hey, listen, on Monday, I know you're only going to do like 45 hours across the family of networks. Carve out a few minutes for us, man. Don't big-time us like you did last year.
On Monday? Well, I just did.
When we're having the draw. When we're having the draw next week, man.
I'm on TV. I'll be on TV all day.
I understand that. You can get away for you tell Mike Gold, look, man, Basilio needs me in Knoxville. You, Berkey, love you.
Well, I'll be on at some point. I promise you that.
Thank you, Berkey. Love you.
Maybe Tuesday.
Gotcha. Right, yeah, I don't want you on Tuesday, Berkey. It's not timely. Bino, what'd you think of that first hour? In your humble opinion, was that about illiterate or what?
It was lively. It was lively, Tony. That's why.
Tony and Burke, you're all tore up, man.
Hey, it's postseason for two old baseball players, buddy.
And by the way, for the record, he did say A.J. Russell's name. So I've gone back I've looked at the live transcript here that we got.
Okay.
Here at the Raymere studio, he did say that. More on the other side as we continue. It's hour 2 after this.
WJBE 1040 AM 99.7 FM. Translator W259AB. Powell, Knoxville.
Next week is the perfect week to check out your Knoxville Smokies in the brand new Covenant Health Park. Tuesday through Sunday, pick a game. Like Thirsty Thursday with half-off draft beers, Harry Potter Night and fireworks on Friday, Margaritaville and fireworks on Saturday, and get out early on Sunday and snag your Matt Shaw bobblehead. So much going on every single night. Get your tickets now at SmokiesBaseball.com.
Knoxville Smokies.
Life never stops moving, and between the 30-minute commutes, daycare pickups, weekly soccer practice, Tuesday night yoga, X number of coffee runs, and that weekend trip to Grandma's, you're racking up the miles. What you need is a tire that can keep up, a tire designed for doers, a tire that's going to last, like the exceptionally long-lasting Michelin Defender tire. With an 80,000-mile warranty and the safety and comfort you expect, you can forget all about the miles ahead and focus on getting to your destination or conquering your to-do list. Fleet Tire, I-275 exit 1B at East Woodland Avenue in Knoxville. That's Fleet Tire, I-275 exit 1B at East Woodland Avenue in Knoxville. Fleet Tire.
Why is it so stuffy in here? Don't tell me the AC's broken again. Ugh. No matter the season, a broken air conditioner or HVAC system is a nightmare. And with warm weather here to stay, it's more important than ever to keep you and your family comfortable and safe before summer's heat arrives. If you need emergency HVAC repairs, routine preventative maintenance, or want to invest in a new system, then call the trusted HVAC experts at Pipe Wrench Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. This month, get up to a $1,000 discount when you buy and install a new air conditioner or HVAC system. We make it easy with free on-site estimates for replacements and free second opinions on repairs. And if budgets are tight, we offer flexible payment plans including 0% financing with credit approval. Be sure to ask about our 10-plus year warranties that are 2 times longer than industry standards, so you don't spend a cent on unexpected costs in the future. So call Pipe Wrench at 865-264-8090 or book online at pipewrench.com to schedule your appointment today. And as always, same-day service guaranteed or the visit is free.
Jeff Hall here. I'm a partner at Rather & Kittrell Capital Management. And here at Rather & Kittrell, we understand that life is full of transitions. Since 2000, our team of dedicated certified financial planners has been helping individuals, families, and businesses navigate these changes with confidence. From comprehensive wealth management to tailored retirement plans, we're committed to guiding you toward a secure financial future. Ready to take the next step? Visit rkcapital.com or call us at 865-218-8400 to start your journey today. Rather & Kittrell is a registered investment advisor.
Out-of-town law firms have been swarming into East Tennessee lately. From Memphis, Chattanooga, and Birmingham, they've stormed into the area. Wouldn't you rather do business with a local firm? You know, a true neighbor. Marcos Garza and the pros at the Garza Law Firm are just that. There are neighbors and friends that support local causes year-round. The Garza Law Firm works to serve you professionally on criminal matters, injuries and accident matters, and Social Security and disability filings. The Garza Law Firm is here for you at garzalaw.com. The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Are you stuck in a dead-end job or ready for a new challenge? Do you feel like it's time to try a new career? Well, it's time to change lanes with TLD Logistics. My friends at TLD Logistics have some really exciting opportunities for you to learn a new skill. With a new 5-acre driving academy that's now under new leadership with all new course material. And the best part, it's absolutely free. What a great deal to set you on the road to higher pay. And TLD Logistics even offers weekly stipends to offset food and gas expenses. In 6 weeks' time, you could complete this course and be in compliance with FMCSA regulations. Then you're ready for the open road of opportunity. What are you waiting for? It's time to change lanes with TLD Logistics. Visit tldlogistics.com. That's tldlogistics.com. TLD Logistics.
A lime is not always just a lime. You see, some limes are lucky. For when a lime joins the salted rim of a crisp, refreshing Tres Dos Equis, that lime is no longer a mere lime, but a wedge of renowned Mexican limón. Muchas gracias, limón. And also, de nada. Enjoy Dos Equis responsibly. Copyright 2024 Dos Equis, imported by Cervezas Mexicanas, White Plains, New York.
Hi there, Basilio crew. Jennifer Morris here with Keller Williams Realty. If you're thinking about selling your home, I've got good news for you. The East Tennessee and Knoxville areas are projected to have another strong year. I'll be happy to talk with you about the latest and greatest info you need. So give me a call at 865-694-5904 or contact me at nextmovesmokymountains.com. Hope to hear from you soon, and go Vols.
Josh Collins at Collins Insurance Agency. At Collins Insurance, we strive to ensure our customers receive better coverage along with bigger savings. Our community is important to us. We want to provide exceptional service to our customers. Anybody can provide great rates, great coverage, but can you also get great service? And hey, don't just take my word for it.
What's up, everybody? Zakai Ziegler here. My family turns to Collins Insurance Agency for the best service, coverage, and price.
So don't just go online and get some random insurance. Experience the Collins Insurance difference.
Like he said, experience the Collins Insurance difference. CollinsInsuranceTN.com. CollinsInsuranceTN.com. And hey, their Mama's Easy approved. CollinsInsuranceTN.com. Thank you to Josh Collins and ZZ.
One more thing, Tony. Go Vols!
Preparing food for a big gathering can really take it out of you. That's why you need to call Calhoun's and check out their selection of party platters. Whether you're hosting a party for the big game, a reunion, or just an everyday gathering, a Calhoun's party platter is next level. Choose from Calhoun's always excellent chicken tenders, fly with Calhoun's wings, or boneless wings with a variety of dipping sauces, award-winning next-level melt-in-your-mouth barbecue ribs, or delicious spinach artichoke dip, or get one of each. Plus, if you're doing burgers or sandwiches, Calhoun's has lots of side dishes like spinach Maria, baked cinnamon apples, Smoky Mountain baked beans, or creamy coleslaw. Available in pints, quarts, and gallons. And to finish things off, pick up one of Calhoun's great desserts to go, including homemade cheesecake or key lime pie. Calhoun's, simply your go-to party headquarters. With 9 locations all over East Tennessee, you can order online and just pick it up. Calhoun's, one of the Copper Cellar family of restaurants, along with Chesapeake's, Copper Cellar, Corner 16, Cherokee Grill, and Smoky Mountain Brewery. Eat local, eat good. It's always magnificent. Mondays on the Basilio Show, presented by our friends at Fleet Tire. I-275 exit 1B at East Woodland Avenue in Knoxville. Fleet Tire, I-275 exit 1B at East Woodland Avenue in Knoxville. And now, back to B. Tony B back with you, 865-200-5402. I was talking with Bino and Bri during the break, and we were laughing. And we'll go back to our TLD Logistics phone lines if you want to get in with us at 865-200-5402. But it seems to me, and I'm just, I'm an amateur psychologist, but Tony just kind of wanted to fight today a little bit. And I wasn't looking to fight. I was telling him I had the Clark kid on last week, who, by the way, really comported himself, for an 18-year-old kid, comported himself really well on here, and said that you're the same. He can't tell whether you're 20-0 or 0-20, and somehow I get clapped at. You and your friends, you like to use the word slide, and then the whole time, Bino, to know that it was Chris Burke. I was really proud of myself for triggering him over something, but he did do the Marcus Phillips thing because he knows that we like to talk about that, because I've kind of picked on him at that down through the years. But to the living listener, what do you think of when you hear Tony Vols on here being human? See, that's why I think coaches should do these shows. I know some think they're above them, and that's fine. You can do whatever you want to do. But it just shows you're kind of one of us. And as a friend of mine that's been in the baseball business for a long time said, everybody has a boiling point. And somehow you scratched Tony's today, and I didn't really scratch it. Bino, I told you before we jumped on, I said, I'm not going to say a word to him. We were going over in our pre-production, but I was not going to say a word to him about the regular season, Bino. I was just wanting to look forward with him. But he was wanting to fight today a little bit, wasn't he? He was wanting to get it out.
Yeah. No, absolutely. He was prickly today. I guess he wanted to prove that maybe what Levi said wasn't right. I can snap, and I'm going to let's get the new Pope on, see if we can make him snap today.
Well, he's a White Sox fan, so chances are, because Bino used to tell me when he worked with me every day, chances are Bino used to say to me, if the Pope was around you for 1 week, you'd make him cuss at you. He'd scream at you. He'd scream the F word at you. Chances are the Pope's a White Sox fan, Bino. Chances are the Pope's uttered a few things in his day. What do you think? Watching the White Sox down through the years.
Yes, I'm guessing that he's probably hard to upset by this point.
I could just picture him in the Vatican, middle of the night in Rome. I don't know what the difference is in time, Bino. But he's got the White Sox on the radio. He's kind of monitoring the Sox. They lose a game in the 9th again. What kind of? I know the Tigers are off to a good start. Titans, Bills, Tigers. What kind of season are the White Sox having anyway, Bino?
Well, they're not having a historically bad one so far, like they did last year. But
yeah, they're 14-33. They're respectable. The Phillies have played a couple of brutal teams. Then we'll go to the phones. Paul Skeens gets one or zero runs. He's like 1-5. There's no way Paul Skeens stays in Pittsburgh, and their owner is literally robbing their fans because he's making more money than anybody, Bino. He doesn't put any of it back in his ball club and takes all the TV revenue and shoves it in his pocket. They ought to take that team from that guy if you're not going to try.
Yeah, Tony, there are obviously some inequities in Major League Baseball, obviously. But there are also some teams that hide behind that small market in order to enrich themselves and to heck with the team.
And that's a disgrace. The Pirates, what they've done is, I mean, it's like watching your team play a quad A baseball team. This Paul Skeens guy, when you tell me a guy has 7 pitches at that level and he has command of all 7 of them, they couldn't touch him yesterday. They scored on a fielder's choice and got a run in, like accidentally, because they were not going to score on him. He blew Bryce Harper away a couple times. He wasn't even close. At any rate, let's go to the phones.
I'll give him credit for not slow playing him and holding him back to try to get an extra year of control over him. They did go right to him, basically.
One other thing, and then we'll go to the phones. It's getting ready to get really, really interesting. So I was talking to the Throtaji about this. Tennessee passed a law the other day that's designed to circumvent the upcoming House ruling, which is still not settled. Brian, how many days between now and July 1st? Any idea? Because they're still not close to a settlement. But many...
About 40, a little over 40 days.
Throtaji predicts to me, from having talks to various... because he's in the deal. He predicts to me that there's going to be a real clash of cultures over this thing. Because Tennessee's going to try and do business as usual. There was a guy that writes for a website, an Alabama website, the other day that was advocating Greg Sankey throw the Vols out of the SEC if they decide to not play by the rules. Hey, listen, Bammer. Now that's rich. An Alabama fan wanting somebody thrown out of his league because they're not going to adhere to the rules. What about your history as a football program? And Nick Saban's another one. Nick Saban's enriched himself to the point where he owns not one, but he owns car dealerships in Nashville, in Birmingham, in Miami. He owns car dealerships all over the country. Which, okay, fine. I don't begrudge him. And then he says, well, I don't want the kids. It's not about I don't want the kids to get money. It's just that we want to put did anybody put parameters in place for you, Saban? Did anybody put parameters in place for him? So while you were gone, Bino, Adam Sparks jumped in with us on Friday. And he interviewed an attorney who's in that space, who read the Tennessee law. And I would encourage anybody to go back and listen to that on Friday, because it was hot off the presses after Adam had just gotten done talking to him. And Adam went inside of that story. And basically, the crux of it is this. It's going to be a really interesting face-off. And those of you that follow the political game know this is often where things come to loggerheads. States' rights or state law versus federal law. Now, what's tricky here is this House settlement is just that. It's a settlement. And it's a federal thing. What the state of Tennessee is going to argue when they're out there conducting business as usual and the NCAA tries to call the cops on their party, the state of Tennessee is going to argue, we make the rules, not you. The fact that Tennessee, and I asked Adam this, Adam believes, he said so, 100%, with 100% certainty, that University of Tennessee officials helped the people in Nashville write that law. They didn't just write the law. In other words, somebody didn't wake up one day and go, hey, you know what, I'm a Tennessee fan, and I love college sports, and they're not going to get over on my balls. That's not what happened. No. What happened is somebody at Tennessee, and I was talking to some people the other day, and they said Donde Plowman's heavy in this. Why wouldn't she be? That's easily somebody that's going to have a statue of her on that campus before it's over. From her leadership through the whole COVID thing, which is pretty unprecedented in our day and age we've lived in, to her leadership through the Jeremy Pruitt stuff previously to that, to her just right on down. Her leadership through the couple of hiccups with the NCAA, the way they tried to come back and go after Tennessee after the fact and make an example of them. And she basically said, get off our campus, which you never see that. And it has so triggered the national media that hates Tennessee over the Greg Schiano stuff. But it has so triggered the national media. So triggered the national media. And now they're triggered again. Because I don't know what it is about the national college sports media, Bino, but they love the rules. They love the rules, man. They love them. They love them. Some of these guys love the rules. They love them. And they really think the NCAA is real. And I would like any of those people that have a modicum of intelligence and an ability to critically think to tell me how you're going to restrict how much a kid can be paid when you're already paying them right now in that space. You're going to now say, oh, no. What just happened? We've got a new agreement. No, you don't. You're settling a lawsuit with past players. And so, how about the University of Tennessee, Bino, being on the vanguard of this, getting out in front of it before the House case even becomes settled And thus, I guess if you want to use the term loosely, some kind of federal law, which I'm not even going to use that term, but some sort of settled legal matter on a federal level. How about the university or the state, but really UT pushing the state to say, no, we're just going to keep doing what we're doing. Did you ever think we'd see this day, Bino, where we'd be that proactive?
I did not, Tony. I thought we've always been overly submissive from a leadership standpoint. Well, for a number of decades, I've got great trust in our leadership now at the University of Tennessee. But I need to go back and listen to Adam Sparks' piece. I'll admit I'm speaking out of ignorance in any of these. When we're talking about the current state of college football and the financial situations that we're talking about, I as someone who knows nothing about it, I am a little bit torn here because I do believe there have to be some type of guardrails put in place. I don't know that any of them would be legal, but I don't think we can continue down the road that we're going. I think somehow, some way, this has to be. There have to be some guardrails, and I don't know that we're standing in the way of that. I just don't know.
We are.
I want Tennessee to be as good as we can be.
Yeah.
But I also think that the game, something has to be done to kind of redirect what's going on right now.
So it's interesting, right? And you'll love that Adam Sparks piece because we got into this. He said that Danny White, behind the scenes, is saying you got to collect the bargain with these people. He's trying to tell people internally inside the NCAA matrix, what we're doing here is not going to work. And we have to be honest about it. And see, in my spot, I'm kind of an anti-establishment person. Like when I was on Tennessee's campus, I ran sort of a joke presidential candidacy, had fun with the establishment then. It's always been my bent. I got like apprehended at a basketball game fighting for better seats for the students. I've just always had fun with the establishment. In this case, I'm really proud of our establishment because they're anti-establishment. And Danny White is the ultimate, like, what's the term you use for people like him? Establishment guy. There's another word. Institutional. He's the ultimate institutional guy. Adam said the other day, and I trust Adam's reporting, it was an incredible appearance. It happened second hour Friday. If you missed it, go back and hit it. I'm telling you, Adam Sparks brought it. It was the second half of the final hour on Friday. He brought it to the table on here. And one of the things we got into was that University of Tennessee was extremely involved in the crafting of that legislation. And then the second piece is Danny White behind the scenes. He believes there needs to be guardrails, but the guardrail is we admit what we're doing here. Because Adam said that Tennessee's law, Bino, is going to admit that we're signing you to pay for play. In fact, under the Tennessee law, you're going to be able to sign these guys to multi-year and these girls to multi-year contracts and hold them to it, which you can't do right now. Because if I don't admit it's pay for play, I can't sign you to a multi-year deal and hold you to it. You know what Adam did say, though, Bino? He believes that these programs would be hesitant to sign these people to multi-year deals because they want to cut them when they can.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a real-world thing. I'm having a real-world conversation with you here.
Yeah.
I don't want to commit to you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
To the phones we go. I was on an Alabama radio show the other day. They asked me about the Nico thing. What can you conclude from Nico? I said, I'm concluding that Tennessee decided Nico wasn't good enough, or they would have given him a couple $100,000 raise and lived with him. There's no doubt that's true. I don't know how that's true. I don't know why that's true. That is accurate, right, Bino? Because they could have just given in to him and given him that money. That's chump change to them. $700,000 is chump change to them in the grand scheme.
Yeah, I think when it came right down to it, they just either that or they just decided to take a moral stand and not let someone hold the program hostage when it was most vulnerable.
Either way, these people don't do things for moral reasons. It's all about I want to win, and they just decided this guy and his family, they're not worth it. But it's a good example of that. How I'm not going to get into a multi-year deal with anybody because there was an easy get out of here piece to that. As Joe Paterno once said on a teleconference before a Tennessee bowl game, how'd he say it, Bri? And then we'll go to the phones. Do the Paterno for me, Bri.
Get out of here.
He goes, get out of here. And that really whiny. Get out of here. It's back to the phone.
That little crooked finger pointing at the door.
Yeah, and he was pointing his crooked finger.
And he was like all slumped over.
And literally, if you took that man's eyeglasses off his face and put him on a pack of leaves for 15 minutes, you'd have a forest fire. Hello and welcome into our next call. You're on the air.
Hey, Tony.
Hey, welcome in.
Dino, Brian.
Hey, Richard.
Hey, Richard. You going to snap at me, too, like Tony did?
Snap at you? No, man.
Oh, okay.
I don't snap. I don't snap at people.
We're lovers, man.
That's right, man. That's right. You can't do that, man. Now, hey, I ain't gonna sit there and say that if I wouldn't have been on the field in that game Saturday, that I wouldn't have snapped at that umpire. Because Tony, first of all, I'm gonna let you know that umpire had a grind for that moment, period. Because there is no way he was ever coached to call that a balk. All the years that I umpired and what we look for from a right-hander and everything like that met none of it. And he was just looking for that moment to make that call because he was ready to stick it to, I don't know why, but that was a purposeful call, Tony B. That was not a mistake. That was a guy who had a grind for that moment and made that ball call, period.
My son's an umpire. He said the same thing. My son said, look, you could almost make the case that it was a balk. He said, but it was an anticipatory call. He said, there's no way from that guy's vantage point that he could see what he called. He said, and that's kind of the point. That's the way my son Anthony described it. He said, now you could make the case after looking at the video. He goes, that guy doesn't have the video. He said he anticipated that balk call.
Yeah. You could literally go out there. I mean, because like I said, the intent is his leg, and his leg or anything from his knee to his toe never motion towards the home plate.
Right.
And that's all you're looking for. It's deceiving the runner that I'm going home while I'm coming over here, and that never crossed anywhere close to that. That was a beautiful pickoff move. The guy was out.
He was out.
And then we compounded, and then Dean does a little league era routine easy ground.
That's who
ball.
We are, man.
And
yep.
Yeah, and then the game, it was just like okay. And then the umpire behind the plate squeezed Keegan a little bit after that, and he had those walks, and then it was ball game. And,
well, I wanted to ask Tony about this. I don't know. You think he would have snapped on me because Bino called his team fragile? You think if I'd have said, "Hey, Coach, Bino was just on here and he called your ball club fragile"?
Yeah,
the truth
is a lot worse than sliding.
The truth is, Richard, this team is fragile.
Oh yeah,
they're very. I don't know where that comes from, but they're very fragile, man.
Yeah, they melted in that moment in that inning. That should have been a 0 inning from Arkansas, and they ended up putting 5 runs on the board that inning, and it was sad. Now I want to give credit to the relievers that came in after that.
Yep.
Man, they held them in check, and that's the positives from that week. I think there were a lot of positives. You had the game 2 error by Gavin at short, where it just, again, it's all you see this year, where his cleat got stuck a little, which made the throw error, with that. And it's just one of those years where every facet of the game has led to a loss. And so, you could feel the frustration. Tony on your show was, is fired up. He understands he's got a really good baseball team that is good in a lot of aspects, but yet they're not dominant in any aspect. But when you put it collectively together good and they play a really good game, they're going to be hard to beat. And so when you get into tournament time, that's what it's all about, man. You erase everything else, and that's tournament time, and you just go out there. So I'll be curious just to see how we approach this tournament. Are we, are we just ready to get our team, our bullpen, everything relaxed before we go into the big tournament, or do we actually push it this week? And if we get by the first game, and do we keep pushing it to win that one or not? I guess you just, as a coach, you play that by ear as you just continue to go and see what kind of chances you have. But,
are you boys pitching Doyle? Richard, are you pitching Doyle, you and Bino and Brian? Are you guys pitching Doyle down there?
Against Texas, I am, if we play them. I don't ride him for 7-8 innings. Because he wants to get back out there, Tony. He don't like giving up 3 home runs. And so I can tell you, he definitely will want that ball Thursday against Texas if we get to that Thursday game. And I just tell him, say, all right, you got 5 innings, and that's all we're going to ride you. We're more worried about next week than anything else, but we're going to give you an opportunity to get out there, get that bad taste out of your mouth before the big tournament, and let him go at it.
How about you, Brian? Are you giving this guy a break just to kind of rest up and let his hand heal with the blister and all that, Brian? What do you say?
Yeah, I would limit him probably to 5 innings most, because I'd want to get him a start, at least just see if how far he can go. I don't want him to have 2 weeks off.
How about you, Bino? What do you do with him?
No, I think Brian's right. He'll be on normal rest that day. You send him out there for his normal start, and you monitor him if he has any physical issues going on.
Man, he's such a stud. You know that Arkansas team, Richard, the truth is the league is so good that Arkansas bunch, they're the top offense in the deal, and you can see why after watching them over the weekend, how they scuffled to lose all those series. You talk about something that's mystifying. That's only their 3rd series win in like the last month and a half, too. They've been kind of scuffling as well. Yeah. Or should I say sliding?
They're susceptible in their pitching.
Yep.
They got one good starter. I think the rest of the guys are the same as most teams. They're head cases. That one game they look awesome. The next game they look very average. And
boy, that
seems
guy.
to be like most. Yeah, I mean that's most of the country. I mean, when you say, Tony, after this all dust is settled and the regular season's over, are you looking out there in college baseball landscape at the moment and saying there is a definitive 2 or 3, 4 teams that look like they're guaranteed Omaha and a national championship, like you could say in the years past with the Tennessees and various other teams? I don't see that.
No.
I see a lot of teams with some good players, but with a lot of holes, and this is going to be one well of next month of a tournament.
I totally, completely agree with that. I think you could see some 2s and 3s get to Omaha this year out of those initial fields. I really do think you're right. I think there are some very good, like North Carolina's got a very, very, very good team. I saw a projection that had Tennessee group with Georgia Tech yesterday. Please let that happen. Please. Tennessee will smoke them. Please let that happen. Please, let's do that.
Yeah, that'd be down the road. Be a lot of fans could go to that game. So yeah, that wouldn't be a bad place to go on the road. And real quick, and I'm out of here. Hey, again, I want to say the same sentiment. I read that article by that Alabama writer saying that Greg Sankey needs to kick Tennessee out of the SEC. Man, oh man, how rich is that for someone who knows how well they have cheated over the years in paying and giving wonderful perks to their football team down there, to come out there and say something like that, man. That's just the greatest hypocrisy of a Bama writer I could ever see, man. I'm out.
You're right. You talk about somebody with some testicular fortitude. How about that, Bino? Alabama wanting to take their ball and go home. It's just a couple years ago I was wanting to run away from them. Now they're wanting to throw us out of the league, Bino. Now that Sheriff Heupel beats them on a regular basis. On your TLD Logistics phone lines, let's go back to the phones and get our next call in. Hello and welcome. You're on the air.
Tony, Bino, Brian, what's up, guys?
Hey, Park, welcome in, brother.
Hey, good.
I saw your boy Turner Saturday when I was playing music.
Where at?
He was walking in Lakeshore. He was walking off his girth. No, I'm just kidding. He looks good. But yeah, we saw each other. He's your boy though. He's a good guy. I love him.
Oh, he's been my best friend forever, man, and he's getting married this summer, so we're excited.
Oh, he didn't tell me that, man. Good for him.
I hate to break the news, but I'll tell him that I broke the news for you.
He's a good-looking kid, too. He's a good-looking boy. I like him.
Well, Tony, I was just listening to catching up on the Adam Sparks interview. That was remarkable what he broke. And it had me thinking, do you think that the University of Tennessee is the most powerful institution in the state? I'm serious. Is that a fair question?
Oh, it has been for forever. It's either the University of Tennessee and TVA are your two most powerful entities, at least in these parts anyway. But truthfully, politically speaking, with TVA and UT can get pretty much anything done they want to get done in the state.
Well, I'm just thinking, here's what I'm thinking. If you're like, and not that it matters, but if you're ETSU or you're Tennessee Tech or one of these regional schools, and you're sitting back and you're thinking, my gosh, Knoxville got them to pass that, we can't get anything. Like what? And I'm not trying to turn this into politics, but this kind of is. I mean, this university has got all these legislators to write this legislation for them that's going to benefit the university, and it goes beyond sports. It's crazy to me.
But if you stop and think about it, right, when the good times are rolling, the University of Tennessee at Knoxville feeds a lot of the other schools that are in their system. And so it impacts other communities throughout the state.
You're saying there's a trickle-down effect. That's what you're saying.
There's no doubt about that. Sure there is. There's no doubt about that.
So we can basically this gives us permission to do whatever we want.
Correct.
Until Congress gets involved. That's from what I understand from you and Adam and what Adam's article said.
That's right.
And if I'm not.
No, that's right. That's right. But here's going to be the fight. The minute Tennessee's in violation, or one of these other schools in one of the other states that have written similar legislation, Tennessee's legislation goes the absolute furthest, though, of any of the looking into it over the weekend. What Tennessee's legislation essentially says is, I am paying you to play sports here. We are not pretending. We are not going to be under the auspices of some clearinghouse. We are writing a contract with you. You are an athlete. You will, under the terms of this deal, go to school and stay eligible. Make this many appearances wherever we need you to make them, and play sports. And the other thing Adam said that they're going to put in these deals is they're going to put incentive packages in these deals, which you couldn't do before. You couldn't do that before.
I mean, coaches get incentives. I'm sure Rick Barnes got an extra couple grand for making the Elite Eight and going past the Sweet 16. I don't see a problem with that.
No, let's face it, Parker. We gave 1 year Monty Kiffin a $900,000 extension for waking up on January 1st and fogging up a mirror. I mean, what are you kidding me? So,
well, I mean, every other industry. I mean, we're teaching these kids how to survive post college, right? Well, if you earn a commission, right, you're gonna get a big commission check if you hit your quota. That's the difference, you know.
That's exactly right. Bino, do you have a problem with giving incentive based deals to college athletes in these sports?
Tony, I'm still having a problem just thinking of it as professional sports, even though it's basically been that for years and years. But no, I mean, once we're talking about contracts, I've always been for incentive base in professional sports.
That's exactly right. The guaranteed contracts in the major league sports really drive you crazy because guys in contract years go crazy. And I don't want to say they play harder, Bino, but they put up better numbers. And I don't know if they're playing harder. You tell me what they're doing, Bino. But that is a thing in college, in professional sports. They call it contract years for a reason. They use that term, and it's not a misnomer. A contract year is a contract year.
Well, I mean that's been my argument for since this is all legalized, is that they need contracts and they need to become employees and hold standards. But that's me just being a broken record. But hey, before I get off, I really just got into baseball in May. I don't know if I've told you this, Tony, but I'm just going to be honest. I don't really care about it, college baseball that is, until May, the last 2 weeks of the postseason or the regular season, going into postseason baseball.
It's fair.
So a couple questions here.
That's fair.
One, is there any chance that we can host? I know that they're running that ranking like around top 16. Like, do we have to go pretty deep in the SEC tournament to host? That's the first question.
Hey, Brian Hartman, talk to me. Brian's really on top of this in terms of the numbers and the RPI and all that stuff. Brian, what is your sense? Because none of this happens in a vacuum, but let's say this, Brian, over the weekend. Coming into the weekend, West Virginia was the 16th host team, right, Brian? And they lost 3 to Kansas.
They're out of hosting now.
And they're out because they lost 3 to Kansas. So who right now, Bri, is Tennessee vying with from your standpoint?
Well, they're probably looking at teams like Florida competing for a host spot with them.
Tennessee right now.
Who they swept earlier.
Tennessee in the quad 1. Tennessee's got an excellent RPI, by the way. In the quad, Florida's got a tremendous RPI because they played basically everybody, and they've played really well down the stretch. Whereas we've, what do you want to call it, Bino? Cooled off. Brian, what about like Alabama, Mississippi? Are we vying with them as well?
Yeah, I think there's a number of SEC teams. It depends on. I think they have 6 SEC teams hosting.
Yep.
And Florida's close.
UCLA's another one. UCLA's another one that you probably want to see exit early from their conference tournament.
I want to pull up the field and see who D1 has hosting and see who the 15 and 16 teams are.
The Vols are on that line. Parker, here's my question, and I'm not trying to be
Georgia Tech's one, TCU.
Yep.
UCLA.
Yep. Parker, I'll say this. I don't know that I want to host. And that's a terrible thing because I'm saying home baseball. Bino, am I serious when I say I don't know if I want to host with our ball club? I'm not so sure we're not better off going to Georgia Tech and playing, Bino.
I think you're serious when you say it, Tony. I don't agree with it, but I think you're serious.
But we play better baseball on the road. Isn't that a thing? I mean, this team is what this team is right now.
Well, to be fair, and I admitted it, I have not watched a lot of Tennessee baseball this year.
We've been slop at home.
The show and everything.
We've been slop at home. No offense to us, but if you look slop up in the dictionary, that Tennessee home showing the last several weeks would be staring right back at you.
The question is, would you be the same at home against non-conference teams?
Well, and here's the second question that I was going to ask, and I'll get off and let somebody else get in. Like I said, I've been keeping up with it the past 2 weeks. A team I don't want to play, I don't know if we're going to end up playing them, is the Virginia Cavaliers, because I think they've won like 13 or 14 in a row.
Yep.
They're red hot. I don't think they can host because of their record, but I know they could probably be in the same regional maybe as us, but I don't know anything about them other than they're red hot, and I don't want to have to play them. So,
well,
I'll hang up and listen to y'all. Good talking.
Thank you. Yeah, I call that the
Anthony
Basilio regional because he's dating a real sweet young lady who is a Virginia grad from Virginia family, and they go to all the sporting events, and they're sweet people, good people. How you get up every day and go to Virginia sports, man. Whew. But I'll tell you one thing, they are playing well, and they are supposed to be in that West Virginia regional. They were grouped with the Vols. I would love and I mean love, to go to Georgia Tech. We'd drive down and see that, wouldn't we, me and you? Go to the Voss. What do you have? What do you have? What do you have? What do you have?
That'll be a good trip for Vol faithful.
Beanstar, tell me this. When Pete Alonso threw that ball into the dugout last night on a routine play at the plate, and the ball slipped out of his hands and went 90 feet wide of the base, what did you think about?
I thought about Vladdy. He's Vladdy's favorite player.
A mutual friend of ours. I thought about us.
That did come to mind as well.
Okay. I was like, if these guys can have balls slip out of their hands, of course it's going to happen at our level. Alonso looked at that catcher like, what in the world did I just throw to you? And why was it 45 feet wide of the mark? I'd encourage anybody to go look at that today. When a major league player, he's standing, he's got to be 30 feet from that catcher. The ball had to miss him by 9 feet. I mean, it wasn't even close. Take a brief timeout and come back with more on the other side. And we'll get some more calls in, more fun and frivolity on a Monday after this.
Guests appear on the TLD Logistics Hotline. Online at tldlogistics.com.
Next week is the perfect week to check out your Knoxville Smokies in the brand new Covenant Health Park. Tuesday through Sunday, pick a game. Like Thirsty Thursday with half-off draft beers, Harry Potter Night and fireworks on Friday, Margaritaville and fireworks on Saturday, and get out early on Sunday and snag your Matt Shaw bobblehead. So much going on every single night. Get your tickets now at SmokiesBaseball.com.
Hi, I'm Jim Simpson, owner of Simpson Meats. When's the last time you grilled a really good burger or steak? One your friends still talk about. Our goal at Simpson Meats is to make that happen every time you have a cookout. All of our cuts of meats, steaks, burgers, briskets, and pork are always fresh, flavorful, and sustainably sourced. We are family owned, so we know the importance of knowing how and where your food is raised. We have been putting quality first since 1888. Visit our butcher shop off Lovell Road or online at simpsonmeats.com.
Peace of mind is priceless, especially when it comes to your home safety and your family's comfort. That's why the pros at Pipe Wrench Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling created the Peace of Mind Maintenance Plan. Preventative maintenance for HVAC and plumbing is like changing your vehicle's oil, and experts recommend scheduling regular system checks to keep everything running smoothly. With Peace of Mind, you can safeguard your home from unexpected costly breakdowns and repairs. You'll get tons of benefits, including full system checks on HVAC and plumbing systems, water heater flushes, sewer camera inspection, 10% automatic discount on repairs, priority bookings, no service fees, and much more. Monthly service plans are as low as $20.25 per month, and total annual services are valued at over $1,500. Call Pipe Wrench at 865-264-8090 or book online at pipewrench.com to sign up or schedule your appointment today. And as always, same-day service guaranteed or the visit is free.
Life never stops moving. And between the 30-minute commutes, daycare pickups, weekly soccer practice, Tuesday night yoga, X number of coffee runs, and that weekend trip to Grandma's, you're racking up the miles. What you need is a tire that can keep up. A tire designed for doers. A tire that's going to last. Like the exceptionally long-lasting Michelin Defender tire. With an 80,000-mile warranty and the safety and comfort you expect, you can forget all about the miles ahead and focus on getting to your destination or conquering your to-do list. Fleet Tire, I-275 exit 1B at East Woodland Avenue in Knoxville. That's Fleet Tire, I-275 exit 1B at East Woodland Avenue in Knoxville. Fleet Tire. Basilio here for Budget Transmissions. TGMD, the great Matt Dixon, took his Ford Escape to budget, and like our Gold Bullet back in the day, it was a total mess. And now, Matt's back in the game. He's got a new transmission, axle, wheel bearing, both radiator hoses. engine mounts, coolant hoses. I mean, his Ford Escape was about to escape to the junkyard, but he didn't begrudge it. He took it to Budget, and now he's on his way back to Omaha. Budget Transmissions, over 30 years in business, conveniently located in Bearden. All extended service contracts are honored. A gold certified Repair Pal member. 865-584-4391. 865-584-4391. Budget Transmissions. Don't begrudge it. Take it to Budget.
Hi there, Basilio crew. Jennifer Morris here with Keller Williams Realty. If you're thinking about selling your home, I've got good news for you. The East Tennessee and Knoxville areas are projected to have another strong year. I'll be happy to talk with you about the latest and greatest info you need. So give me a call at 865-694-5904 or contact me at nextmovesmokymountains.com. Hope to hear from you soon, and go Vols.
Tony B here with the great Zakai Ziegler. For
Hey, whoa. Tony, I got this. Hey, Tennessee, it's Easy here. Next time you have an electric issue at your home or business, call my friends at Advent Electric. With offices in Knoxville and Nashville, it's Mama's Easy approved.
You heard it from the most electrifying player in the league. Call the service professionals at Advent Electric, 865-588-0631. Online, adventelectric.com. Tell them ZZ sent you. Basilio here, and you know my friends at Carnes Motor Company started with a dream over a quarter century ago. I met Rob and Brian back when I still had hair, and they were working at a huge dealership in West Knoxville. But they told me back then they wanted to sell cars on their terms, and I wanted to do radio on my terms. Their terms, just like my terms, are ultimately your terms. In both cases, you're the winner. A Car Guru's National Award winner with a 5-star rating on all sites, just like our Vols. Everything about buying a car from Carnes Motor Company is no hassle. They specialize in high-quality pre-owned vehicles between the $5,000 to $25,000 range. And if you need to sell a car, they'll either buy your car or they'll help you sell it. Carnes Motor Company also has a top-notch service department. Therefore, every vehicle is rigorously inspected and serviced prior to delivery. So you're guaranteed to get a quality pre-owned vehicle every time. If you need a place for service, they've got you covered. Come be a part of the Carnes Motor Company family and tell them you heard about it from me. Online at carnesmotor.com. Oak Ridge Highway, 1 mile past the Carnes light. Carnes Motor Company. TB back with you, 865-200-5402. Our Monday's presented by our friends at Fleet Tire. I-275 exit 1B. Shout out to Jerry and the boys and the girls there. Before we go back to the phone, shout out to our friends at VIP Play. VIP Play, Will Heflin will be in here Wednesday after the Tennessee Fun and Frivolity. Bri, who will the Vols play on Wednesday in your humble opinion? Who wins that first game tomorrow?
It's Alabama versus Missouri.
Who you got, Brian?
And so you'd have to think Alabama would beat Missouri because Missouri's only beaten Texas A&M.
Alabama's been a real slide, though, here recently.
Yeah, it's a one-game thing. Anything can happen, but I'll have to say, let's just go say they play Alabama.
Who wants us out
Hey,
of
if
the
we
league?
truly have a chance
Yep.
to host, we want to play Alabama. Then we want to play Texas.
Couple things I want to
We
share.
don't want any part of that Missouri bunch.
Couple things I want to share with you on VIP Play, then we go back to the phones, and maybe we'll do a TLD Logistics overtime, or maybe not. But I want to encourage you to go claim your VIP Play welcome bonus. You bet $5 or more, you get $100 in bonus bets instantly. Use the promo code TNTony when you go. Many of you have, because I want proper attribution, and I don't want these jokers across the state beating me. And I do mean some of you are absolute stone-cold jokers. No offense. Also, new and more convenient deposit and withdrawal methods are coming soon. We're listening to you. That's the bottom line, because Basilio said so. The next VIP Play app update will continue to upgrade features to make the betting experience on VIP Play an even better one, which is saying something. In other words, VIP Play listening to you, listening to your feedback. So here you go. Also, the VIP Players Club Sweepstakes. Every bet you make gets you entries into the VIP Players Club Sweepstakes. 1 entry per bet, 1 entry per dollar bet. 10 times the entries on your parlays or same-game parlays. Your initial contest ends June 30th, and then subsequent contest follows. Daily profit boost, 25% on MLB parlay profit boost on 3 picks or more. NBA playoff no danger wager, 50% of your stake back and bonus bet if your wager loses, and 20% on your player NCAA baseball tournament profit boost, 3 picks or more. It's all there. VIP play where everyone gets treated like a V to the I to the P. Gambling problem, 800-889-9789, 21 and over. Located in the state of Tennessee to place a bet, and we'll go back to the phones. On a day where my eyes are weeping and nobody cares, but if you did, you would care. But hello and welcome into our next call as you're live on the program on the Monday. Hi.
Hey, what's up, Tony? Joshy.
Wings.
Hey, Tony, did you catch any of my Bravos and Red Sox yesterday?
Did not. I was playing music. I was playing music during that one.
Oh, at Lakeshore?
No, we had a gig up on the French Broad River. Very, very beautiful event.
Oh, nice.
Yep.
That's good. Well, Bravos got a win yesterday, and it was a fun, entertaining game. They went up 3-0. Then Rafael Devers hits a grand slam. Then the Braves score 6 or 7 unanswered runs and win 10-4.
Y'all beat the Red Sox this weekend like you were mad at them.
Yeah.
Bino, what'd you think of that? What'd you think of what the Braves did to the Red Sox this weekend, Bino?
I'm for it.
Bino, you're like me. I'm checking the Braves score hoping they're losing, and you're checking the Braves score hoping they're winning this weekend. Because Joshy boy
against the Red Sox.
Yeah, Joshy boy, I'll say this. The Braves are playing much better baseball right now. They've stabilized their bullpen a little bit, and it's got to be heartening to you that our closer got caught with
suspended for 80 games.
Well, Joshy boy, don't dunk on the guy.
Oh, okay.
But he got suspended. Yeah, he's like Jerickson Prothar. He's not going to be available for the postseason. He's going to serve an 80-game suspension.
Well, Profar is going to be back next month, I believe.
But But Profar is ineligible for the playoffs.
Oh, he is?
Yeah, that's part of the.
Gotcha.
It's written into the language of the agreement when these guys get caught. Because the truth is, well, I'm not going to say the truth is, but a lot of these guys are still doing it. They're just not getting caught, right, Beanstar? That's the whole deal, right, Beanstar?
I would think, Tony. I don't think the guys getting caught are the only ones that are using.
Right. I mean, if you think Aaron Judge is not, I don't want to say that though. I want to get Bino all started. Hey, I'll tell you one thing about Aaron Judge. He's hitting like 400 right now. He's unbelievable, Andy Mack. He's unbelievable, Andy. He is like my man Clark. Every time he's in the batter's box, you got to look at it because something great could happen. Like my boy Clark.
Best player in baseball, Tony.
Yep, Levi Clark is. Best player in college baseball coming next year. It's theater near you. To the radio listener, I love you. We'll do some TLD Logistics overtime after this.
WJBE 1040 AM, 99.7 FM. Translator W259AB. Powell, Knoxville.
Shout out Freddie Jack. Where's Freddie Jack been, Bino?
I don't know where Freddie Jack's been.
Taking like 2 months off.
It's TLD Logistics Overdrive. Overtime.
Freddie Jack, hope you're okay,
by
buddy.
TLD Logistics. Online at tldlogistics.com.
We went hard at him a couple months back, Bino, and haven't heard from him since. Brian, how long has it been?
And now let's go to the guys with today's edition of TLD Logistics Overdrive Overtime.
It's TLD Logistics Overdrive Overtime. Brian, how long's it been since we've heard from Freddie Jack?
I don't know for sure. It's probably been basketball season.
3 months?
Maybe.
3 months? He does do that. He intermittently disappears. Bino, are we worried about Freddie Jack right now? Are you worried about him? Do you have any way to reach out to him?
I do not have any way to reach out to Freddie Jack. Hope he's doing well.
Well,
trust he's doing well.
Freddie Jack, if you're listening, I want to put an APB out for you. I hope you'll heed the clarion call and call the show. I hope you're not the latest in the long line of people who have quit this program as a caller due to cheap heat you have with me.
Hopefully he lets that slide.
Yeah, Freddie Jack.
I'm not supposed to say that.
Let bygones be by. Oh. I see what you did there, Bri.
Tony, before we go back to the phones, can I make a comment about Pete Rose? As a matter of fact, I was on hold on Thursday when the show ended. And the only thing that disappointed me about that was if you'd have come to me, I was going to have the opportunity to say you just had to take one more call, Tony. But I didn't get the opportunity.
Well, if you'd have texted me, I'd have known you were there, you clown. But Bino
I
doesn't
don't
he
text
wants
you.
say,
I want to be a caller when I'm a caller.
You see, Joshy boy, he doesn't want special treatment. Now, Joshy boy, would you like Bino to take up some of your call with this inane take he's going to have on P. Rose?
No, I don't want Bino to take up any of my call. He's tried to already.
Did he really? Did he horn in on your call?
So Tony, I'm with you. I think it would be better for the baseball team to not host and play on the road. I think that would give them more motivation, and it could possibly help them out. What do you think?
I think they play better on the road.
I agree with that.
They get it home, and they find their off switch on offense. Start chasing. Berkey caught it like trying too hard. I don't know. I don't know what it is. I don't know either. This group loves the road, though. We've had several of them tell me on the air, on those Wednesday appearances, that they love getting booed. They love being the bad guy.
Yep.
Here's a question for the uninitiated: if they played at Georgia Tech, Bri, would they play in front of big crowds, or do they care enough at Georgia Tech to show up, Bri? Do you know that?
I can just see. I can see a situation where there's a lot of Tennessee fans there. Georgia Tech's a lot like Vanderbilt. They play in a big city, and the state school that's to the east certainly overshadows them quite a bit, and has a lot of fans living in that area. So I could see a situation where that would almost feel like Tennessee is playing at home if they played at Georgia Tech. So maybe you don't want to play there. I don't know. Given that.
Hey, Tony, is that always going to be a thing when Frank the Tank is here at Tennessee? Other teams still in bases against that, or do you think we'll get that fixed eventually?
Bino, what do you think? It's a great question. Did they shift philosophies due to what happened in that Vanderbilt series, or when next season rolls around and they'll still be letting teams run wild on them? What do you think, Bino?
I think it'll be pitcher reliant, Joshy. I think that they, especially with Phillips, they want him to concentrate on pounding the strike zone and don't worry about runners. But at some point, it just becomes so egregious that it gets in their head regardless. So you have to do something to combat it at that point. You have to keep them from stealing second and third. Second, I understand. Third, time after time after time after time, you can't do that.
Yeah, I agree with you, Bino. Guys, out the door, I have a question for y'all. If you had something you had to watch for the rest of your life between these two, what would you watch? The Pittsburgh Pirates or the WNBA season?
I would say
that's an absolute no-brainer.
Raise the Jolly Roger, brah. Because I'd be watching baseball night in and night out, and not literally a sport that thinks the UFL is invisible. Imagine watching the WNBA if Caitlin Clark's not involved. Now, if Caitlin Clark's involved, I'll turn it on and watch it. Caitlin Clark is that sport. I'm sorry. Like, let's have a little powwow with each other, shall we? The only reason to tune one of those games in would be to watch Caitlin Clark play basketball. And it's the only reason. And I mean the only reason. That WNBA is a pretty good summer activity. No offense. Bino the Great, give me your Pete Rose take. Let me hear it. I cannot wait.
I can tell you're excited, Tony. I can tell you're excited.
I really am curious because it broke after and you didn't have a chance to be here. So I'm glad you brought it up. Go ahead.
I think Major League Baseball did the exact proper thing when they suspended Pete Rose for life from baseball activities. He had broken baseball's golden rule, and therefore he had proven that he was at least capable of hurting the game of baseball. I look at the Hall of Fame completely different. I think the Hall of Fame is a fraternity of past great baseball players. I think the building itself is a museum of baseball history. And I think without Pete Rose being in there, it's incomplete. And there's no way in this world that you can hurt the game in any way by putting his bust and putting some of his bats and his jerseys and recognizing the fact that he's the all-time hit king. Until they have something in there recognizing that, then the Hall of Fame is not complete.
All right. I'll go with you there. Let's give him then a display. I want all his betting slips. I'm not kidding. I mean, if it's a museum and we're going to talk about the history of the deal, I want all his betting slips there with a narration, sort of you push the button and it sort of tells the story. And because at the end of it all, but we don't have to induct him in it, do we? Because when I induct you into a Hall of Fame, that's like an honor. I don't think he deserves that honor.
I think as a player, he deserved to be honored. So. I think as a human being, he doesn't.
But how do you...
he wouldn't be the first one inducted in the Hall of Fame that didn't deserve to be in there as a human being.
But how do you separate the two from player from manager? I don't understand how you separate the two.
Again, I just don't think I don't think you're hurting the game in the least inducting him into the Hall of Fame. I understand the suspension. You can't hurt the game of baseball by inducting your all-time hits leader into the Hall of Fame.
Hey, Brian, if you induct your all-time hits leader into the Hall of Fame and he did what that guy did when he was managing, aren't you condoning what he did at that point, Brian? Aren't you like tacitly condoning it?
You're putting him in there as a player. You're not putting him in there as a manager. And he did nothing as a player that should keep him out of the Hall of Fame.
Boy, it's interesting. Because I am for putting like an amusement of him in there, putting his bats in there, recognizing his greatness. I'm not so sure the proper way to do him wouldn't be just to put him off to the side and say, okay, here's Pete Rose. And, because the hall is for kids to have something to do, Bino. Maybe you could have like a thing of Pete Rose trinkets, and the parents could get 4 spins for $1, like on a slot machine. And you have like, if the 3 lemons come across, you get like a Pete Rose trinket comes out of the, a way to tie. Because I think your idea about having a wing shaped like a syringe on their property there is a great idea in Cooperstown.
Well, great big old heads is busts.
Yeah, because like Bino says, to ignore that era of baseball, that's not accurate.
No. And Tony, I know it's subjective, but I think Roger Clemens and Barry Bonds should both be in the Hall of Fame.
Of course.
For what type of player they were long before they ever started juicing.
Not even close.
Their greatness was evident before they started juicing. I'm not asking you to put Brady Anderson or Sammy Sosa or any of those guys that were just a product of what they were taking in there. But those two guys were great baseball players in any era.
Mark McGwire was a great baseball player, Bino, before he was doing that. Wasn't he?
Yeah, I think McGwire.
But he certainly enhanced himself, no question.
Yeah. I don't think he was the player either of those two guys I'm talking about on.
So who from that era, Bino? Who from that era would be Hall worthy? I'm sure there's more than just Clemens and Bonds.
I think those two guys are. I think Palmeiro is
he's borderline. Yeah.
And McGwire is borderline. But I think without question, the two that they've held out that should be in there, Roger Clemens and Barry Bonds.
Alex Rodriguez, have they held him out too?
Yes. And Rodriguez was a Hall of Fame baseball player. As much as I despise him, he was a Hall of Fame baseball player.
Yeah. He was a
5-tool wonder.
He is a real POS.
Yes.
No offense to him. You can just tell by looking at him that he's and I'm not judging the guy, but he's a smarmy, narcissistic dude. If ever there was a pretty boy, that fake look he has on his face where he does that Taylor Swift thing whenever she hears applause. That kind of I don't know, Ghost in the Machine look she has that he does. You like him, Bino, that how he tries to look all intelligent when you're talking to him. He does that.
You know I don't like. He's my least favorite Yankee of all time.
Bino, when he was playing, I would always call Bino and just give a Yankee game like a cursory watch, and then call Bino and pick out that one thing about Aroyd I saw, and Bino would go off for 15 minutes. You could just trigger Bino with Aroyd.
Yeah, I'd go Tony Vols on you.
He's a sanctimonious, smug.
Don't say it, Tony.
Never had a big hit in his life. You used to go on these rants about how he never ever got a key hit. Like he was a total stat sheet stuffer.
Yeah, that was overly critical, but he did. He was so jealous of Jeter because Jeter was such an in-the-moment player, maybe the best in-the-moment player I've ever seen. He wanted so bad to be Derek Jeter, and he couldn't.
Isn't that funny? The other thing that's funny about the vanity of sports and life when you stop and think about it is why a guy as talented as Barry Bonds would be worried about what people are saying about Sammy Sosa.
No.
Instead of just sitting over there and doing his own thing, why a guy like Tiger Woods? I'm talking about vanity, okay? Why a guy like Tiger Woods would feel the need to bulk up when he's already ripping apart the competition? But he wanted those women in the Waffle House to like him. Does that make any sense to you, Bino, at all? He's already winning everything, but he wanted bigger arms and he wanted to hit the ball further. I mean, he needed that extra length. Not at all. Okay? Like, not at all. I need some... Bino, do you have any final thoughts here on the way out? You've been incredible.
No, Tony, I've really enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to postseason baseball and seeing how Tennessee responds here. glad to be in it again. Just grateful to be in it again.
It's fun. And like Cinco's arriving at the take that, hey, a lot of these teams missed the deal. Like Tony was, going through that today. He doesn't just speak that to us. I know how hard it is to get back. The team last year that played for the national championship had basically the same team coming back this year with a different manager. But they not only missed the tournament, they missed the tournament by far. Their one wake-up call came at our expense, which is really ironic, and we haven't been the same since then.
Speaking of, their softball team was number 1 in the country, number 1 overall seed, and they're done. They're the first team that was number 1 overall to not even make it out of the regional. So between baseball and softball, it's been a very tough go of it for A&M.
And Tennessee's
the popcorn flatulences.
And Tennessee's Super Regional begins when, Bri?
They play Friday at 7 against Nebraska for Game 1. Game 2 is Saturday at 5.
Nebraska going to get
and Game 3 Sunday if necessary.
Nebraska going to get them a Nebraska kick. And Bri, were you surprised that Carlin Pickens did not start the second game yesterday against Ohio State?
Well, it was a game where they didn't have to win. Ohio State had to win 2 games. So they started the other girl in her place, and she went 5 shutout innings, and then they brought Pickens in there when they got some run support, and she shut the door on them.
They just did that to give her an opportunity.
It was a risk, yeah. It was a risk, and I think it's also good going forward because they know they've got a number 2 pitcher that they could maybe rely on in the moment.
Do you find the Lady Vols to be a national championship contender, Bri, this year, yes or no? Could this be the year when Karen Weekly finally wins one to cement her legacy here?
Well, the number 1 overall seed is gone, but you still got Oklahoma there. Now they're the top billing. So they look like they might be more beatable than in years past. Tennessee's got the best pitcher in the country, maybe. So I say let's ride with it.
Bino, do you like
they got a shot?
Bino, do you like how some of these women's softball coaches look like people that could meet you in a back alley and beat the absolute hell out of you, including Patty Gaspipe?
Patty Gaspipe
from Oklahoma, Patty Gasso.
I can't believe you're calling her Gas.
Well, wasn't the guy's name Gasso?
You're mixing your interests, yeah.
What was his last name? The gas pipe guy up in New York. What crime family
Gasso.
was he in? Gasso.
His name was Casso.
Okay, and what's Patty?
No, he's Casso with a C. She's Gasso with a G.
But they called
Gaspipe works for both.
But they called him Gas Pipe, right?
Yes, they did. They sure did.
So why, if she's Gasso, why couldn't I call her Gas Pipe?
Well, you can.
Okay, thank you. I'm glad we worked that out.
Good, me too. It's important.
Brian Hartman, I'm thinking about a total wins over under for your Celtics next year. I'm going to consult you later on. We're going to post it over at VIP Play later in the week as a win total. Are you excited about it?
Yeah, let's lowball it. And you take the under.
I cannot believe how badly I jinxed your guys. And
twice.
And I got to take the Toronto Maple Leaf pennant down. I was up in the wee small hours of the morning listening to Maple Leaf post-game stuff. It means everything. Take what Tennessee football means to you and multiply it by 5. And they can't sniff it. This Marchand guy has beaten them 7 times in a row in Game 7s. Either in Boston or now in Florida. And they're taught. And last night, one of the hosts, Bino, said, because the Marchand guy is like an old guy and he's sort of over the hill, he said, I don't care, overpay him to get him off Florida's roster. Get him here. I'm sick of losing to him. If you got to pay him $5 million over, pay him. And the way they were ripping this Mitch Marner guy after the game last night, he's a free agent to be. People, Bino, during the game were throwing their Mitch Marner jerseys on the ice late in the third period and booing this poor guy every time he touched the puck.
No.
They were throwing his jerseys on the ice, Bino. Talk about something not ending well.
It's not good.
Boys, love you. Thank you.
You too,
Peace.
guys. Thanks.
Thank you. I snuck a little NHL talk in there on you. Till we meet again, for all those behind the scenes, I want to thank my friends at TLD Logistics. You guys have been incredible. Thank you. And in honor of one of the big bosses there at TLD Logistics, rainy days and Mondays always get me down, Lance McCluskey. That'll never be forgotten by the living fan. The singing of that will never be forgotten by this living fan. Till we meet again, shout out to Matt Chambers, a.k.a. Matt in Caryville, a.k.a. supporter of the program. Proud of you, brother. Great weekend on the golf course. Love you, man. Love your show. Eat your heart out, Scotty Scheffler. Move over, because Matt Chambers stole the weekend. Till we meet again, for all those behind the scenes, my name's TB. I love you. I appreciate you. G to the B to the O. And glad to have you back today, Bino. Good night. Tony Vols, quit being so freaking sensitive. Jeez. All right. How about Tony Vols' heat was with my boy Berkey? God, he said, tell your guy to quit saying a slide. We come to find out it was Berkey, of all people. Here's a run back. Tony Vols appears pretty quickly in this. Here it is. Tell a friend. Ba 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 bum.
WJBE 1040 AM 99.7 FM. Translator W259AB. Powell, Knoxville.
Bring it on, long and strong. Lean and long, bring it on. To the crack of dawn, bring it on, long and strong. Bino, Jeff, Brian, welcome to Fantasy Island, my friends.
Hey, I'm in here right off the top, too, Tony.
Bring it on, long and strong, lean and long, bring it on. Tony Vols, speaking of lean, Tony Vols going to join us, Beanstar, coming up here in a mere matter of minutes. Are you fired up, folks, prepared for him?
I am, Tony. Look forward to talking to Coach.
What are we going to do with him today? Are we going to browbeat him on the season they've had, or are we going to talk about the postseason and keep the focus there? What do you guys want to do? We haven't met and had our pre-production meeting.
I'm not browbeating anybody on here, Tony. That's your role.
How about you, Brian? You want to browbeat this guy? Or we want to talk about the postseason with him? Because Orange Throat comes with a message of love, a message of hope, a message of salvation. As he says that, and Will Heflin said it, it's a totally different season now. And you're either going to perform or you're not in this different season. But it's a completely different season. Bri, I forgot, we had the same exact record we had a couple years ago, that team that went at Clemson and won on the Miracle.
Yes. Thanks to not getting swept and thanks to sweeping 2 series, Tennessee does not get swept better than a team in the country. They've proven that they can beat anyone once, and they play in a regional somewhere. There's probably a good chance that they actually beat one of those teams twice.
I'm going to need you to come back in and come back out. Bri, you're flanging on me. So you do that. That's be absolutely next level. Bino, I wonder what it is about postseason baseball. Heflin said it feels totally different. It is totally different. The air is different. The game is different. Will was in here after the game on Saturday, and he said, you know what? He said, I could be being absolutely sheepy here, but I saw enough things that I kind of think this team has a run in them.
Well, you get there, Tony, and there's just a sense of such higher sense of urgency to every game. And Some teams react to that well and some don't. And you have to find out which one you are each year.
No doubt about it. So Tennessee plays baseball on Wednesday. Do I want to go like making a public appearance, Bino, and do the thing publicly, or would that backfire on us if we're on the air while the game's going on? I mean, we're going to be on the air, but do I need to add that with this team? Brian, what do you think? Do we need to add that with this team? Past teams, we would go do it and watch them hammer somebody.
I think I'm going to leave that up to you. I say maybe you do it because you may not get a good chance.
Wow.
I don't think you're going to affect the outcome either way, Tony. So.
Well, I mean, you know, I did a number on the Toronto Maple Leafs and Brian Hartman's Boston Celtics over the weekend.
Thanks a lot, Tony.
Hey, Brian, over at VIP Play, that's the last time I put the Celtics in my mouth. I'll tell you that right now.
Thank you.
Hey, Bino, I looked up, checked the halftime score in that game. I think Brian's guys had 37 points at halftime. I think they were down like 30 points. What was the halftime score, Brian, Friday night?
I went to sleep. They were down 51-28, the last score I saw.
Hey, Bino.
I said, that's enough.
Hey, Bino, explain baseball to me. So Phillips comes out. The Vols win that start, hit the baseball. You get your ace on the mound the next night. He's giving up home run balls all of a sudden, and we can't execute in the field. And Heflin had another great point. I'm always quoting Heflin on here like he's Confucius or something, but him and Matt were talking the other day. Heflin said it sure would be nice to see one of our pitchers pick up a defender when they make an error. He said every time those guys make errors, those runs score with this team. He's right.
Yeah, Tony, this, for whatever reason, and I'm incapable of explaining baseball to anyone. I don't understand it myself. It's just so different from day to day. But this is a really probably Coach Vitello's first fragile baseball team. This is a fragile baseball team. It seems like when something goes wrong, many times this year it's kind of snowballed on them.
That ball call, Bino, Saturday was a disgraceful call on a true freshman. That's like punching down on somebody for that umpire to call that there.
Yeah, I mean, it was total horse bleep. No way in the world you make that call. That's absolutely looking for something to call and calling something that didn't occur.
And Dave Van Horn was a coward afterwards, taking on Berkey. And then he says, well, it looked different. Look different how? Look different how?
Look different because they picked his runner off by 2 body lengths.
I mean, how did that look different?
But
how'd that look
again,
different?
Yeah, I didn't see anything that looked different on it. He just pivoted in the hole and threw over there. There was nothing. There was nothing to indicate any start toward the plate. It was a perfect pickoff.
In a weird way with this Tennessee baseball team, because now it's going to get real. I think these guys ought to feel good about themselves. They haven't won a series in like 6 weeks. They're totally due. They are playing better. My boy who we had on last week, and he's my boy now, Levi Clark, looks like, you know what he is? He's what a college baseball hitter should be, Bino. The really good college baseball hitters, when they get in that batter's box, you have to watch them because they're capable of smashing a ball at somebody at any point. And when that kid's in the batter's box right now, he looks like he has bad intentions, Bino.
Yeah, he does, Tony. I think he's going to be a really solid hitter. I'll be surprised if he's not.
Yeah.
I don't know what position he plays.
Yep.
At other levels, but he's going to be a really solid hitter. And to Orange Stroke's point, you know, the hope here is that history's repeated in that this program under both Rod Delmonico and Tony Vitello, much more often than not, flourishes rather than wilts in the postseason. That's what we've seen here.
So let's go. Let's go. Tony Vols on the other side after this. Let's get the party started. The postseason. I'm not saying a word about that regular season to Tony Vols. Not a word. So we continue with more after this.
It's the hottest post-game show on the planet. Garza Law. Fifth quarter fan reaction. Fan reaction. As soon as the final gun sounds, we're live.
Tony Basilio, and we've got Chad Stockton with FC Alliance. Chad?
Well, I'm up in Johnson City, Tennessee with our FC Alliance North location that we started this past fall. We are doing well. We kickstarted the spring season with games this past weekend, and we've got more games coming up the next few weeks. So we're excited about what the springtime holds for us. Our girls' ECNL is also into the middle of their spring season. They hosted a huge weekend this weekend coming from Pittsburgh and New York, the teams they hosted. Good results, hard teams. They played all weekend long. We've got such a focus on skill development and focusing on what's the right way to play for our kids as we continue to grow. We're expecting our programs to continue to grow like they have been the past few years. Our tryouts are coming up in late May. For the U12 and under, it's the middle of May, and then for the older kids, it'll be late May. But we're expecting to grow not only in Knoxville, but also in Johnson City.
And if you want more information, you can see what Chad's talking about and hear those kids and get involved. It's FCAlliance.org. Again, FCAllianceKnox.org. Hey, Chad, thanks, man. Many happy returns, my brother.
Thank you, Tony.
Listen up, baseball fans. It's time to step up to the plate and get some new Tennessee gear from Alumni Hall. Don't you dare swing and miss by shopping elsewhere. Alumni Hall has the best selection, top brands for you to choose from. Shop in store, 3 Knoxville locations, or Bristol or Murfreesboro. Anytime, online, anywhere in the world at alumnihall.com. Come grab your Tennessee baseball jerseys. Incredible. Oh, Coach Vitello jersey, hats, decals, t-shirts, and so much more. Earn $10 in rewards for every $150 spent. Shop Alumni Hall, your ultimate Tennessee shopping destination. Go Vols from Alumni Hall. Tony Basilio along